Yeah, so anyhow, I come up here live tonight. I was gonna have a guest with me, but things didn't work out for one of the guests. So I'm gonna come up here live for a while myself. A few things I want to talk about, and then I'll probably get out of here. Unless somebody decides they want to come into this live stream, it's open for those who have the information on Zoom. Okay. Outside of that, that's what I wanted to talk about really was people's ability to turn their head to truth, to become offended by truth and to turn their head to truth, deny truth, and look the other way, and then wonder why your society's in the shape it's in. And to think it's normal, to think the society, the shape our society's in, to think of how our behaviors are and how we treat one another is a perfectly normal thing when there's nothing normal about it. You know, I used part of Zeitgeist 2019 moving forward. The documentary, I've got all the Zeitgeist. And I'll tell you what, I don't care what anybody thinks about Zeitgeist. The only people that hate Zeitgeist are the people that don't like truth. The people that are actually offended by real truth. They get upset about Zeitgeist because they can't handle real truth. And unfortunately, it's when you turn your head and you look the other way to real truth, and you keep denying real truth and turn your head and thinking the behaviors are normal, and you keep playing the game and you keep being in a society that's infatuated on lies and games and wanting up somebody else for your own selfish gain, for your own profit, and you think that this society or any world or any nation can withstand this for any length of time and that this is the way it's always been, this is how you bring down a society. This is how you crash and burn. This is why you have wars for money, for profiteering, and you, the victims, the people out here, the average people, are never the winners of any war. You're always the losers, and you always have been, and you always will be. You don't hold the cards. You never have and never will. While you're chasing your fortune and your money, that will never be your money. That money was used to enslave you. That money was used to perpetuate what's going on in today's society and what's been going on forever and ever. Since the invention or the creation of money, it has been nothing but tyranny, death, and enslavement. And here you are just carrying on with the same old BS, all worried about your own selfishness, and you just can't see nothing wrong with your behaviors. So here we are. You know, I put it in your face today. I put it right in your face how the social engineering of our society, how our society and what we've accepted is the complete cause of TFL, incel, men going their own way, women going their own way, of all the corruption and all the behavior. How 100% across the board, I put it in your face today, and if you still don't get it after that, then obviously you're probably too stupid to ever even get what 2 plus 2 is. Okay? Or you just love being sick. But that's all right. You can love your sickness. And you can carry on with your sickness because where you're going is the same place the dinosaurs went. You're headed for extinction. That's right, you're headed for billions of people dying, and you will be the cause of your own demise. You won't get around it. Don't matter if you think you're so smart, you're so this and you're so that. You can tell yourself that when everything around you is crashing and you're panicking. I want you to look in the mirror and remember, you were complicit with what's going on. You are responsible for what's going on. They crash your currency and you don't have a job, you're guilty. You sure are. You're damn right you're guilty. Because you don't want to look at truth. You want to believe in the people who rule you are on your side and are there for you. They're there for you like you're there for everybody else. And because you're not there for everybody else and you're only there for your own selfishness, then you can understand why you lost. Because the people that are ruling you that you are trusting are just like you. They're selfish, they're liars, they're psychopaths just like you. The only difference between them and you is they're the ones wielding the power over everybody else. And the reason they have the power over you is because you've always been a big coward. You're not in the land of the brave. You're not in the land of the free. You're in the land of the enslaved. The land of the dumb. Where everything's about profiting off of somebody else's back. You don't care who you hurt as long as you profit. And when you look around you here on YouTube, this is what you see so many people doing. You hear people whining and bellowing that they can't make their monetization off of their videos. The majority of people up here on YouTube are here for phony fame. That's right, fraudulent fake fame. Here for subs and views. Are here to try to make a buck. You actually don't give a shit about what's going on. You actually think it's all normal. Humpty Dory. You know, and for the people in the manosphere, for the incels and the TFLers and the fraudulent men going your own way. That's right, I said fraudulent, didn't I? That's because you know you are. You just get mad when somebody else sees through your dumb ass. That's all. You get upset and you get angry when somebody sees through you and knows that you're a fraudulent fake. Because that's the majority of the people in our society is all fakes. Frauds. Fakes, phonies, and frauds. Fakes, phonies, and frauds. Everywhere you look. You can't even be yourself. You go out there in the dating arena and you put on an act. And you become fake with your little phony baloney act. Then you can't figure out why things ain't working out for you. Obviously, because you're not smart enough. Oh, I know, but you call yourself educated, right? So you want to tell me what you're educated to? What, being stupid? Oh, yeah, that's right. That's the new smart. That's right. The new smart is the opposite of smart. Completely dumb. It's just unreal how stupid people really are. How the truth can be put so in your face. And how you will ignore that truth at all costs. You won't be able to ignore the crash of your society. You won't be able to ignore that. Because when the people wielding the power over you repeat history as they've always done, well, that's not hard to do. When you're all willing patsies, when you're all willing to turn your head, it's not hard to set you up at all. These people have set millions of people up over the decades, over hundreds of years, and replayed history over and over and over. And nobody ever learned from it. And people always come up and sees what's going on and tries to tell you. And what do? You're doing the same thing the Nazis did. You sure are. You're doing the same thing everybody done before every war that's ever been fought. They always turn their head and look the other way and call the messenger a nut. And then they belly cry and whine when the shit hits the fan and it actually happens. It's no different than, I've been up here for what, 12 years or so? And it's no different than when I told people, and it wasn't even my prediction. Back when we had our first little recession here, well, not the first one, but the last one that people can remember when Mr. Arnold Schwarzenegger was in office in California. That's the governor. And you had Tent City going on. And GE and so many companies moved overseas. And jobs went out the door. I told people about that 2 years before it ever took place. And so many people up here on YouTube attacked me and told me I was nuts, called me a conspiracy theorist, a tinfoil wearing hat nut job, told me how full of shit I was. And then what I told them was going to happen happened. And then all of a sudden I heard crickets. All these dumb idiots here on YouTube that attacked me, you disappeared. I hear crickets. I'll give you a really good one. He loved to talk fancy talk and big words. The name was Smiling Skeptic. Yep, lived in Canada. Oh yeah, he loved attacking me. He loved telling people how nuts I was. He loved his big fancy words to make himself sound so educated. And then what I said happened. Well, he just disappeared, didn't he? Yep, he's not to be seen no more, is he? No. Of course not. Because he knew I said what I said, and he knew he was doing calling names, and he had no way to dispute it because it actually happened. So he ran like the little coward he is. That's right, that's what people do. You come up here hiding behind your keyboard, or you come up here with a phony baloney name and put your face on there and don't tell anybody where you're at. Oh yeah, we knew he was in Canada, but don't say where in Canada. It's a pretty big country to guess where, right? Right. And then as soon as you figure out that somebody's telling the truth, and a lot of times I'm telling you the truth, and that's why you attack me. Because you've been wounded by truth. It hurt your little feelers, didn't it? Yeah. Your little feelers got hurt over truth. That's what it comes down to. I couldn't do any better than what I can do is to show you and show you and show you and show you. And you get mad. So many of you blow me off. So many of you don't care. I had a comment earlier. Of course, he's no longer on my channel. That's right. I've removed him. Yep. Because he's telling me how I slam men all the time. Yeah, I do. I slam corruption all the time. I slam men and women alike. The ones that are corrupt, the ones with bad behavior, the ones that are complicit with the way our society is. When all the truth you ever need is right there in your face to be found, and you're too lazy to go look, that's not my problem, that's yours. I don't feel sorry for you at all. Because everything is in your face to be found. But when you're too lazy to go find and look for yourself, there's no helping you. I don't owe it to you to go do your homework for you so that you can stay lazy. No, that's not my job. I'm not getting paid for this, and I don't want to get paid for what I do. So one thing I can honestly say, I've never asked money from anybody for what I do. I don't give a shit about monetary gain. Because you need to understand it's the monetary system that's put you where you're at. That's the reason your society is so messed up to begin with. It's led to people being greedy and selfish. It's led to the loss of care because the only thing you cared about is profiting for your own self. You know, when you got this hierarchy system that allows you to move up and keep moving up, and the more you move up, the more you look down on people below you, and you let your head swell up and you let your ego overinflate. And you start doing unto others that you would never want done unto yourself. And you already know you wouldn't. It's actually pretty sad. You know, last week I come up here with a live stream with Jay. Joe was supposed to be here and he got busy and didn't make it. Okay, and I told Jay this week because Jay sat up at 3 a.m. in the morning. I told Jay then that, he didn't have to be sitting up at 3 o'clock in the morning to come up next week. There was no point of it. Okay, because I'm like this, I appreciated him sitting up to, Jay sat up to 3 in the morning, his time over there in the United Kingdom. I appreciated the fact that he did that, but I don't expect anybody to have to do that, and I wouldn't want him doing it on a regular basis. And I see you there, Mr. Toronto. Hope things are going good for you. So, I don't do it through Google. I've sent you the information once before in your email. How you could come into this live stream. And I put that information in your email before for you. And then you never done nothing with it. I don't use the Google Hangout, and I'm not going to appear through the Google Hangout. The information that I provided to Jeff Ashton, Steve Hoka, to Joe, to Jay, is available to you. I gave it to you once before in your email. That is how you would come up here if you wanted to be on my live stream. Either that or you're going to download Zoom, which is a free app. And you can download the free version of Zoom. I have a paid version. You can use my email address, which you already have, and you can add me to the contacts list on Zoom, and I can bring you into a live stream that way as well. You're in Canada, do believe, Mr. Toronto, so calling over where I'm at could be international, could cost you some money. So I guess the best thing I can tell you is download the free app to Zoom, install it. It only takes a couple of minutes. Use my email address and send me a friend's request. That if you want to come in a live stream like what I'm doing right now, I could bring you into that live stream, and then you can talk and be part of the live stream. So that's to TFL, True Force, or Toronto Force Loneliness. You already have my email. I see your emails in my email, so you already have it. And if you hadn't got rid of any email I sent you, you actually have the information, but it probably wouldn't do you any good being in Canada. So I could understand why you wouldn't use your phone because you don't want the cost. Yeah. So the best thing I can tell you is go to Zoom, look up Zoom, Download the app, it's free. Install it, okay? If you have trouble from there, I could actually show you. Go through it, figure it out, send me a friend's request using my email that you already have. It'll come right to me, and I'll add you. Then if you want to come on a live stream like I'm doing now, then you're welcome to come on a live stream, okay? And it won't cost you a penny. You don't want Zoom Cloud, you want US Zoom. Yes, Zoom does have cloud, but you don't want the cloud. The cloud is for storage. You want the just straight Zoom app for meetings. So just look close and get it and download it. You'll know it because you'll have to log in. It'll ask if you want to start a meeting, and all you do is just make sure you got a mic or a camera. Let you put it on your phone. And if you got a smartphone, they got an app for your phone as well, and you could use your phone. The app won't cost you anything, and you can come in the live stream and not pay no money that way. It'll be absolutely free to you. So now I've told you how you can get in the live stream. You know, Joe is in Australia. I wouldn't give him the call-in information because he'd be charged out the yin-yang like you'd be. See, but Joe's been on my live stream because he put Zoom on his computer. Jay's got it on his cell phone. Zoom is free. Okay? So you just need to install the Zoom. You already got my email. Once you get the Zoom installed, just send the friend's request using my email. Once you got that down, I'll freaking accept your friend's request. Then it won't be hard to bring you into a live stream like I'm doing now. Okay? The other information I've sent out is for people probably basically here in the U.S. so that they don't got Zoom, they could still call in through their phone. But for you, since you're in Canada, you actually need to download Zoom. But anyhow, let's get back to the topic, you know. I showed you part of Zeitgeist 2019 today. And I'll tell you what, I've got all of the Zeitgeist. Because there's a lot of real hardcore truth in the Zeitgeist series. And I don't care what anybody says, I've done enough research to know it's the real truth. And I've seen people get mad and they hate Zeitgeist and they call it nuts and say it's propaganda. That's the people who are asleep. That's the people who are sheep. And that's the people who hate truth. Them are the only people that are going to slam real truth. Are the people who are hurt or offended by real truth. But it's because you don't know the real truth and you choose not to know the real truth because it means personal responsibility. Nothing changes. You know, you're profiteering off of people's backs. Just like the pickup artist industry. How do you think they make their money? They make their money off the millions of men who can't get somebody in their life. And the damage it does when somebody can't get somebody in their life because, you know, it's right there in your face. All human beings have wants and needs. They actually have needs. And without the actual needs that they need, it does damage to them. It does mental damage. It just helps mess up the brain. That's right. So see, our society is responsible for hurting millions of people on a regular basis, and they don't give a shit. Through social engineering. Why? Because you're all busy profiteering. And you're profiteering off of other people's backs. You set up your phony, baloney, damn stage show acts. You go out there and commit false flags that never happened. Sometimes you commit false flags where you do take lives, and you use it for profits. for your own selfish self. See, downright as evil as you could be is what we have done. All because of money. All because of money. Money and power. Them are the two major reasons that we have the corruption we have. And it's that same money and power that led to TFL. I put it in your face today. All you had to do is pay attention. I put it in your face. I pointed it out to you. It couldn't be any more blatantly in your face. But the majority of you'll probably turn your head. You'll look the other way. Or you'll reach up your anal and pull some cop-out out, thinking that cop-out's going to get you around the truth, when it's only going to shove your foot further down your throat. That's all it's going to do. You know, I removed Viper from my channel today because he's one of them people that got wounded by truth. And he said, oh, you slam men all the time. Yeah, I slam corruption all the time. I don't slam men. I slam people who are responsible for what our world is like. When you're complicit with wrong behavior and you think there's nothing wrong with shitting down somebody else and wiping your feet on their face, I will slam you. And that has nothing to do with gender. That's just the fact. I will slam you. I'll slam you right to the ground. Because wrong is wrong and right is right. If we can't get care back, if you can't have empathy or sympathy or empathy for somebody else, and you can't have care, the ability to care about right and wrong, and to put yourself in somebody else's shoes, and know that you wouldn't want it done to you so you don't do it to somebody else, when you can't comply with them simple little things, and I slam you, it's because you deserve to be slammed. Because, see, most of you already know. You know you don't want it happening to you. You don't even have to pretend that. You already know you don't want it happening to you. But you're so complicit with doing it to somebody else. Because you're getting your little sick in the head, what a psychopath does, little power trip out of hurting another human being. So when you get your little power trip or your ego boost off of looking down on somebody or hurting somebody else, and I slam you for that, it's because you're a parasite. It's because you're scum. It's because you are one of the reasons this planet's like it is. You are the reason. And that's why I slam you. See, I don't slam good people. I only slam the parasites that are playing the game and hurting other people for their own selfishness. This profiteering off other people's backs for your own selfishness, nope, I'm going to slam you and I'll slam you all day long. Because you're a parasite. You're brainless. When we said zombie apocalypse, I'm not kidding you, man. That's what we live in. We live in a world of stupid. Where stupid's the new smart. I think maybe we should just take a big tattoo, the one you can't wash off, in big letters and write it across your forehead. Hi, I'm stupid. Or my name is dumb. This way people can identify you without knowing you. At least they'll know what you are. Then you only get it removed when you fucking grow a brain. Because there's absolutely no excuse. It doesn't matter what you tell me. There is no excuse for the foul behavior I see. And what's really sad is to be as far along as we are, where everything's blatantly in your face, and you're still denying it. You know, I was over on a YouTube channel today that's an agent. Yeah. Not the same one I did the video on. This one here, the YouTube channel is actually called, I'd have to look again. Let me see if I can give you the name. Jason, my son's name. Jason A. Has 1 million subscribers. And you read the comments under this person's videos when he puts them up. And what you see is sheep after sheep after sheep after sheep after sheep after sheep. The brainwashed. The complete brainwashed. Frequent this channel. They love it. They believe everything that's fed to them by their television set. Because their television set and their dollar, their money, that's their God. And because their television set and their money is their God, they're so asleep, it's not even funny. You know, when you witness that here in the manosphere, so many people here in the manosphere are sound asleep. You know, I'm going overseas to try to get a wife, a woman of my life, because I know I'm not to go overseas because it's only America. Because you're sound asleep. Because you're absolutely sound asleep. The list of countries that are all having the same problem you're having here in America. And you're going to go overseas where the same problem is happening here in America is happening and somehow think you're going to get a woman, huh? And then if you cause the problem to become worse over there, you don't care. You know why you don't care? Because you're already part of the problem. You have no care. Because you don't care about anybody but yourself. One more time. You know, from the time we were born, it's like I showed you today. That's the reason I put that documentary up. Yeah, I can do that. You just make sure you get Zoom on there and send me a friend's request. Once I get a friend's request from you on Zoom, I can set up something, okay? But that's where we go. I mean, there's just nothing I can tell you other than the Zeitgeist series tells truth. Well, if you got Zoom on there, you got to send a friend's request. Believe me, I'll know when I get it. Because I'm using Zoom right now. You'll have to find where it says add friend, add a contact. You have to go to contacts and there's a little plus button on the left-hand side. When you click in the right spot, it'll say add a contact and you'll click on it. It'll open up a dinky little window. And when that little window opens up, that's where you type my email. Then you press send. When you do that, I'll receive it. So explore the Zoom app, go to contacts, until you find the little plus on the left-hand side. Click on the little plus, and you'll get a drop-down box. Then you'll see where it says add contact. That's where you'll put my email. Then I'll get it, okay? But anyhow, I just wish more people would really wake up, because you got so many TFLers out here and incel guys that are sound asleep, and they think they're going to go overseas to fix the problem. They don't understand that so many men before them have already went down that road. And it didn't work out for them neither. Just like it won't you. Because you don't understand that it's not just America. It never has been. It's because you've allowed a patch of selfish psychopaths to run this world. Not just the United States, but the whole damn planet. And the countries that are standing up for themselves are the ones that we keep invading and attacking. What do you think our military's overseas? What do you think it's about in Iran? It's about making them like the rest of us so that these criminals can have everything, the whole planet. Because these psychopathic criminals that are running this world, that's exactly what they are. They're psychopaths. They actually look at themselves as gods. And they think they're gods. That's what happened when you kept turning your back. See what happens when you turn your back to truth? You become complicit when making it worse and worse and worse. Now you're to the point where it's almost like, let's just push the reset button. Now nukes drop all over this planet and kill billions of people. Because you don't have it coming to you. And I hate to say that about the good people. But when you got so many that are so corrupt, that are so selfish, that are egomaniacs, that only care about their own selfish want and don't care about anybody else, I'm sorry, when that happens, there's no fix. Because until you can get care back and stand together and stand up against the people who've done this to us, you've already lost anyhow. I mean, you're like a bunch of ostriches with your head in the sand and your butt in the air. And it's pretty sad because, VVS, well, Steve Hoka, Steve Hoka was kind enough to bring him up on his channel. He really was. He was kind enough to bring him up on his channel. And so what is the thanks that VVS gave to Steve Hoka? Oh, well, his videos are boring. Oh, yeah, Bill Greathouse's videos are boring, too. They're conspiracy theorists. Yep, so there's Steve Hoka's thanks by VVS. Used him to get his own want. Yep, VVS has a bunch of sheep following him. People who are sound asleep. And that's sad because the reality is what it is. Steve Hoka gave respect to VVS. And VVS's idea of giving him respect back was to dump on him. I've never done nothing to VVS and got dumped on without ever doing anything to him. He's an example of what I'm talking about. He's one of the reasons this world's in the shape it's in. Because he's there for all the wrong reasons. He really is. Let's see what we got going here. Hey, yep, don't worry about that. I'm with you still. I just got a pausing situation going on right at this moment. So give me a second. No, I'm not doing that right now. Nope, I'm in a live stream. That was a nice try, but I'm not doing that right now. Because that's a lot of extra shit right in the middle of a live stream. Take my mind off of what I'm doing here to do all this typing. Okay, to make sure it's correct. You know, you're not in the live stream right now, TFL True Force Loneliness, okay? Mr. Toronto Man, you're not in the live stream. You obviously must have Zoom on your device. Okay, so you want to pay attention to what I'm telling you. Because I cannot add you right now. I'm in the live stream. Okay, that's taking me off focus of what I'm doing. You know, you're the one listening, not me. If you got it, you look at the box of your top of your box, okay, and you'll see a spot that says home, chat, meetings, and contacts. Click on your contacts on your left hand side, okay. You'll see one that says destroy or okay, you'll see channels. On the left hand side, you'll see two boxes. One says channels. Right next to the one that says channels is a little plus arrow. Click on that plus arrow and it says add contact. That's how easy that is, okay? And click on the add contact and put my email in there and then click send and you'll be done. I'm not going to try to do that in the middle of the live stream. That's not that hard for you to do, okay? So I said pay attention to what I'm telling you. I'm not going to try to do that while I'm in the middle of a live stream. It's not hard for you to find. You just look at the top of the box. If you've got it downloaded, you're going to see it. Home, chat, meetings, contacts. Click on contacts. Look on the left-hand side, you'll see two columns. One says channels. The one that says channel has a plus arrow next to it. Click on the plus arrow, you'll see it says add contacts. So I said it one more time to try to help you make it easier. Type my email into that and click send and you'll be done. And so anyhow, I guess the only thing I can tell people is this. I want to see people start paying attention. I want to see people start caring about one another. I hate to see what I've seen happen with Steve Hoka or myself. Steve Hoka was kind enough to bring VVS into his live stream. He used Steve Hoka to get subs. So as once more, he was trying to profit off of somebody else's back. He was demonstrating exactly what I talked about in this live stream, which is sad. It really is, because she should never have done that. You're profiteering off of somebody else's back, and that's just wrong. What do we got here? Bing, bang, contact. There we are. I have officially added you. You have figured it out. Thank you, Mr. Toronto. You have actually figured it out. If you want in the live stream, I could bring you in now. I could bring you in And nobody will see you. They'll see what you're looking at already. Because I have it set up that way already. So just so you're aware of that, I could actually bring you in now. This is what I was talking about. I'm glad you listened. We'll do that. This, and that's how that works. You don't have to answer if you don't want. But I'm letting you know that that's how it works. That's how simple it is.
Hey, Mr. Bill. Great house. How's things, man?
It's good. It's good. Thank you for listening. See, that wasn't too hard, was it?
That wasn't too hard, no.
No.
Just a little. I'm new to the Zoom, so I guess.
Well, yeah, it'll take you a little bit to learn it, but
Yeah.
it's not hard. I have a paid Zoom account, okay, and so therefore I have information I can give people here in the U.S. that don't have Zoom, and they can use their telephone and call in. But you're
Yeah.
but you're over in Canada, so that would just cost you money.
That's true. Like 60 cents a minute.
Yeah, so that's why I told you no. It's like Joe's over in Australia
Uh-huh.
and Jay's over in United Kingdom.
Yes.
Okay, see, they don't call in neither. Warren calls in, Dave calls in. Steve can come on. Steve added Zoom, but Steve also has call-in information. So Steve Helka has both. Okay, but for you, it don't do any good to have to call in because it just costs you money.
Yeah, well, see, I'm used to Google Duo, and that's how I talk to a lot of friends on the internet. Google Duo. It's a lot easier, but
Google
anyway.
Hangout, yeah, I don't use the Hangout.
Yeah. So, how's things anyway? Uh,
They're good. They're good. I was just,
I haven't been making that many videos. I'm taking a break. I'm not getting that many views, so I just decided to just call cold turkey. So
hey, well, you don't start off not being heard by anybody and expect to have something overnight. It
I
don't. It,
know,
it
I
don't
know,
work that way.
I got you. I'm just
You
I
got.
haven't been like you've been talking about VVS. I haven't heard. I don't really watch his stuff, but he's been putting on some good content here and there.
Well, VVS did do some good content. I got nothing against that. It's the point
Yeah.
of the point is VVS used Steve Hoka to get subs.
Yes.
And then as soon as he got subs and passed Steve Hoka, now in VVS's eyes, Steve's videos are boring. Okay, and he's a conspiracy theorist, and I'm boring, and I'm a conspiracy theorist, and see he did exactly what I showed in that video today, profiteering off of other people's backs for his own selfish gain.
Yeah, what I've been seeing from VPS is that I mean, the views he's getting is like 3,000 views, or I think that was, he's getting like, it's not that, like, it's not high views, but
Well, but the
it's,
most of his views are from people who are sound asleep.
yeah, that's what I've been gathering too, I mean, the guy, it sounds like, what's him call it? What's the guy's name again? Monday Forever Alone.
That's an agent.
Yeah, I know that, and like that guy has about 7.8 thousand subscribers
Well,
or
he
something.
will. They'll slowly build him up. He's an agent, though. He ain't going nowhere. That guy
Yeah,
is definitely an agent.
I've gathered that. Yeah,
See, I
yeah,
don't care what
you.
people tell me. I see through Monday. I see
Oh
through
my,
Monday Forever Alone Monday. I see
oh for
right through
sure,
it.
yeah.
The guy is a fucking agent, just like Turd Flinging Monkey. He's an
Oh
agent.
yeah, oh yeah, yeah. He put TFL in the same category as incel, but
So, It's one of them deals that I don't care what other people tell me. I see through this stuff. I know what's going on in this world. I've known it for a long time, and I've tried to tell people. But you know, if you go over to BVS's channel, look through his comments and all the people that come over, you discover 90% of all of his audience are people who are sound asleep. And they're living in a
Yeah.
bubble, and they think that this is just normal behavior going on in our society. And they think they can jump across the border to another country and somehow score a woman in their life, not paying attention to anything that's going on around them. I mean, Blue Skies Media was a good example of that. He's
Oh,
he's
yeah.
idolizing this agent,
Mm-hmm.
okay? And this agent clearly read the list of countries. I mean, he did tell some truth right there, right? He read the
Yeah.
list of countries where all have the same problems as the U.S., but yet he's going to go overseas and meet a woman when this is all NWO related. What part of the world do they not understand?
Yeah. Well, I think, well, you may doubt me, but I think Blue Skies Media is also a plant too.
Well, he could be,
At
you
least
know.
that's what I think, you know.
Well,
Me,
I look at it this way, okay? He threw up a lot of red flags that suggest he could be, right?
yeah.
But at the same time, where I know for a fact Monday's an agent, Blue Skies Media could also just be a sucker.
I'm not seeing that. I'm
Well,
not,
the only
because,
reason I'm saying that is because let's look at the reality is if you went over to VVS's channel, you see tons of people who are sound asleep. Well,
yeah.
if Blue Skies Media has actually talked with Monday behind the scenes, Monday could actually be using him. And the guy's son, if he's sound asleep, he wouldn't see through it. He'd just fall right down the rabbit hole.
Yeah. Like I know, like Blue Skies Media, like he had videos about, he was talking about, what's it called? He was talking about how he was in jail and all that stuff. And I when he first started saying that, I just turned him off. I unsubscribed to his channel. I don't deal with people like that.
I don't
You know?
unsubscribe, okay, even with Monday. I don't watch his stuff, but I keep my eyes on him because he's an agent, okay?
Oh, I know,
And
but
it's just like with Blue Skies Media. The red flags still stand. I told people that. I caught out the red flags that I saw. And when I see more red flags, I'll call them out. And why am I calling out the red flags? Because if he's not a TFLer and he's playing games, the red flags have already been told to you.
yeah, that's true. Okay, I'm gonna be right back. Okay.
Yep.
Okay, I'll talk. Okay, hold on. Okay, I'll be right back.
So anyhow, as you can tell, we do have TFL Toronto Force Loneliness live with me, and that's because I'm not an asshole and I give everybody an equal chance. And I don't care what you think about his speech impediment, okay? Because that's a problem with our society. People want to put other people down for stuff like that and think that somehow they're above when they're not. And so anybody that's going to be real, I'm going to give them a chance. I mean, and that's just what it is.
Okay, I'm back. How's things, man? I'm back again. I just had to go. Yeah, one of those things, eh? Anyway, as I was talking, like I said about Blue Skies Media, like when he started talking about him doing time in jail and all that stuff, I just unsubscribed to his
Well, you
channel.
know what? I'm going to look at the reality and I'm going to tell you the reality because it's most likely very similar in your country as it is here in the U.S. Okay? I can guarantee you this right now. In the United States of America, there is no such thing as a law abiding citizen. I don't give a shit if they've never been arrested or not. There are so many laws wrote that I'll guarantee you everybody in this country has broke a law and didn't even know they have.
Yeah.
That's no lie. That's fact.
Yeah,
Okay?
but
And the thing is it's all been deliberately done.
I just, I mean, he's pumping out new videos here and there, and I think I saw one of his new videos. I think it was about 4 weeks ago, and he was talking about what's it called. He was talking about shoot, he was saying something about he was talking about
Global
I'm
seas.
sorry here. I'm sorry, Bill. I got to catch my thoughts. He had a new video out about he had one 4 weeks ago. He was talking about the bagel guy, the incel bagel
Oh,
Christopher.
that bagel guy's an actor.
I know that, but hey, he believed it. He
Well, of
believed it.
course he did. Okay, when Monday Forever Alone Monday talked about the bagel guy, I laughed because he's an agent and he already knows it's an actor. And anybody that can't see clearly that that bagel incident up there was nothing but an act, I can't help dumb. Stupid fall for anything their TV tells them.
Oh yeah, that's true. I mean, when I first saw that video, I wasn't even surprised. It was so fake, you could laugh throughout the whole video. I'm not even kidding. It was so fake.
Well, Monday Forever Alone Monday flies all of the colors of a Freemason. So first
Mhm.
off, he puts masonry symbol in the front of you. He
Oh
uses
yeah,
he uses the
yeah,
black cat, okay? He
yes.
puts it all in your face. And then he's using the day Monday because Monday stands for moon, okay? And the moon stands for the goddess, which is a female. So we're back to freaking worshiping a female, okay? And considering her a goddess while he's up here criticizing incels and fooling the manosphere.
Oh, I mean, like you said before, like the way he talked was more. He talked like he was like an agent or something. I mean, Monday Forever Alone was just his videos were boring. He sounded like he was reading off a script. Um,
He's professionally spoken,
yeah,
okay?
exactly.
He's
Like,
professionally
like,
spoken.
like
He's got a
all of his
professional
videos
degree.
were off the internet. I mean, like when you make videos, you speak from your heart. He just made videos off the internet. Like he just took like he took like what's it called? He took like he went on his computer and he would type out these articles about incel and he would believe it and then he would add commentary to it. And he's to me his videos were just lame. I mean, I couldn't get anything out of it. I mean, like when I watch your videos are like you just speak from your heart.
Well, if you was to really listen to Monday Forever Alone's Monday's content, and then go over and listen to Turd Fling and Monkey's content, what you're going to pick up on it is they're both giving the exact same message.
Yeah.
The message
Um,
is it's your fault.
yeah, I mean, like turd flinging monkey. I mean, that guy. Well, that guy is just his videos are like professionally made. He just puts on a nice background. I don't know how he does it, but I mean, this
No,
guy has
he's doing it because he's
probably
military.
making good
Now,
money.
well, Turd Flinging Monkey is military. He's
Yeah.
military media industrial complex. He has a crew of people in Hollywood work with him like Alex Jones does. Why do you think it's so professional? They don't want Monday Forever Alone Monday to look that professional, so they got him in his house. And if you notice, he's only using the same settings every time. Okay, so he's in his house in a bedroom where you can't see nothing, or he's sitting in his kitchen with his black cat. Okay, he's using all
I,
the masonry symbols and colors. Okay, he's using Monday, which stands for the moon. People really got to wake up and understand that He's telling you who he is in other ways, okay? Where Turd Flinging Monkey is giving you, because he's working directly through the military media industrial complex, he's actually, he's got Hollywood just like Alex Jones does, just like you've seen Mark Passio go up on the Alex Jones show, and that was the biggest confirmation ever that he's an agent.
Oh, Alex Jones.
Alex Jones is
I mean, I
CIA.
know who you're talking about. He's like, yeah, I had suspicions about him too. I mean, that he like his claim to fame was when he got video evidence of the Illuminati. The Bohemian Grove. That
That
video.
was fraudulent. That was as fraudulent gets. Alex Jones has always worked for Turner Broadcasting, Warner Brothers, which is Hollywood, then Time Warner.
I
That's
mean,
always been who Alex Jones's bosses was. Alex Jones' family has CIA background. Alex Jones is part of Hollywood.
yes, you. Yeah, that's what I think so too. Because his claim to fame was that video from the year 2000 when he went to somewhere in the outskirts of like the sticks, like the countryside of
Yeah, he claimed that he broke
California.
in. He claimed that he
And
snuck into the Bohemian Grove, and
yeah, exactly. Yeah, exactly.
anybody that fell for that hocus pocus is a sound asleep and too stupid to see the obvious right in your face.
Yeah, I mean, he had access in and out of like the fortress. Like there was like cameras on trees, or it was like like I don't know if you can find that video on YouTube, but I think it was like some years ago. I saw the video where
I
he
done a
posted.
reply on that years ago. Okay, years ago I showed people the truth about that. Okay, and there's not much more I can say because all of the evidence on Alex Jones is in everybody's face and has been there for years now. And anybody in today's society that don't see through Alex Jones, there's not really much help you can give them. And for Mark Passio to go up on Alex Jones's show, I already been suspecting he was an agent for a long time. All that was a confirmation.
Oh, I mean, Mark Passio, man, that guy knows how to make good videos. I mean, his interviews are very spot on. Um, he tells it how he sees it. That's one good thing. I was surprised too when you showed me that link on that video where he was doing that interview with Alex Jones. I was shocked too.
Oh yeah, I see we have Joe in here. Well, hello, Joe.
I mean, Mark Passio, that guy is smart though. I tell you that. I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if he was an agent. I mean, the guy like I think I saw one of his videos where he claimed that he was making at one time in his life he was making like $15,000 a year. And he said that was below poverty. I don't think he was. I don't think they think that was a proper shit. I don't know.
Well, the
Um,
thing with Mark Passio is, people don't pay attention. Okay, if you understand Mark Passio, I like Mark Passio. Don't get me wrong. Okay, he tells one hell of a lot of real truth, and I stand by the truth. But you have to understand, even with David Icke, he tells a lot of truth. But these guys are both plants. These guys are both agents. We're at the end stages of NWO. That's what
oh, for sure.
most
There's
people
so
don't
many videos.
understand, that you are at the end stages, and they're allowing a lot of truth to be told because the one thing they've always bragged to the public is that they would actually tell the public the truth and that the public would do nothing about it. And they're proving themselves right because they're up here telling you the stone cold truth in your face, and people are still just as oblivious as ever and doing nothing about nothing.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, even there's another YouTube channel you should check out. It's called End Times Productions. It's a Christian YouTube. I mean, I'm not Christian myself, but these guys I don't know, they make really good videos and they expose the corruption of like the end times of like they like the atheism and all that stuff and Hollywood and all this.
I don't get into a lot of that stuff, okay, because
I mean,
I've
it's truth.
well, I understand what you're saying, but I have enough research behind me to understand that if you fall, I don't take anybody's faith to believe in a creator or believe in a God, okay, away from them. But people need to understand one thing: religion is a psyop.
That's
It's
true.
it's been a
That's what I
psyop
believe.
since the beginning. Okay, it's used to control. It's used to brainwash and control the population. That's all it's for. And people believe this stuff cold heartedly, and it's so hard to get people out of it because from the time they were a child, they were taken to church, they were taken to Sunday school. I mean, what choice did you really have? When you was a child, you had no say so. If your parents took you to Sunday school and you went to school, you was taught what these people wanted you to know and nothing more.
Exactly, but there has to be a reason why we came into existence. I mean, I don't believe that the whole.
Well, I got other feelings about that, and I don't even want to go on to it in this
Okay, I
show.
got you, brother. I got you.
Okay, so
I got you.
but the
But
reality
as I'm
is,
saying to like this YouTube channel called End Times Productions. I mean, they make a lot of uh, um, it is Christian. It does. The videos do get taken. They do. The videos do get taken down by YouTube, and then they re-upload it again. They really go deep though. They talk about. I think all these Pizzagate and
well, I don't know. Have you ever watched any of the?
Illuminati and all this. Yeah.
Okay, have you ever watched any of the Zeitgeist series?
With who's the content creator?
Zeitgeist.
That's his name.
No. Okay. Did you watch the video I did today? Yes, you did. You left a comment.
Okay. Oh yeah.
Okay. That
Yeah.
documentary that I was playing for you to see.
Oh yes. I saw that. Yes, that was
Now,
a very.
I want to tell you something. You only saw a little bit of it.
No, I saw the whole thing. I saw the
I
whole thing.
have the entire series.
Good.
They
That's good.
tell one hell of a lot of truth in all of their episodes of Zeitgeist. And anybody that wants to disclaim it, you can go ahead. But if you turn your back to the truth, then you cannot complain at the outcome.
That's true. That
I
is
mean,
true.
I'm not going to accept people's whining about the outcome when the truth has been put in their face over and over and over and over. Okay, now Joe's asking you a question. How old are you?
I'm 25.
25.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah.
What I've learned about being young in today's day and age is you don't really benefit. You really get the shit at the end of the stick, man. That's what I've heard. That's what
Well,
I've heard.
that's not going to change any. We're in the end times,
I
and
mean, I've had white girls tell me straight up, "I'm too young, man." Oh boy, it's. I mean, yeah, but I've moved past that stage, and I'm focused on going my own way. I mean, even though I've never had a female companion, but
well,
that's
you know what? I've advised people living in TFL to go ahead and go their own way just for the fact that you can make your choice. But if you keep going out there trying to get, the only thing you're going to keep getting is exactly what you've been getting. And then if you do score, you're most likely going to be used, lied to, and treated lower than a piece of dirt on the ground.
I mean, when the couples I'm seeing in Toronto, I mean, they're really hard to come by. I mean, like it's very, how do you say, asexual?
Well,
It's really bad. It's really bad up here, man.
well, you know what? It's not just really bad in Toronto. It's
Oh,
all
Toronto's the
it's
worst.
it's all over the world. Joe's
Uh,
in Australia, and Joe could really tell you how it is in Australia.
well, I've seen there's actually there's a like MGTOW is like yeah, universal now. There's some MGTOW YouTube content creators from Australia, and they really go like deep into like there's a lot of feminist white females in Australia, and they really hate white men really bad. I know that.
Yeah.
Okay, I feel you on that one.
Well, Joe's right. I don't know if you're reading the chat at all,
Oh, I'm.
but Joe is right. If you go to my live stream again where you were typing in, just mute the sound because you're actually in the live stream now. So if you go there, mute the sound on YouTube itself, you'll be able to see the chat box. Then you'll see Joe typing at you.
Uh, Hello? Okay. Oh, I thought I muted the speaker or something. Okay.
No, you didn't mute the speaker at all. You just mute the sound on the video player itself on YouTube for the live stream, so there's no feedback because you're in the live stream.
Oh,
Okay?
so I can just go on YouTube right now because I'm looking this like this box where I can see you, but I can't see like
That's
the
Zoom.
live.
That's Zoom. You're not going to see me on YouTube or yourself.
Okay, and you gotta understand. This is my first time doing Zoom.
I
Like
understand, but you was in the live stream before you come on Zoom. Leave
okay.
yourself on Zoom. Okay? Go to YouTube, back to the live stream. When you get to the live stream, where you listen to, you're looking at my picture,
Okay, I
you
see it now. Okay, I
yep,
see it
just hit
now.
the mute button so that you don't got no sound from the live stream, and then you can see the chat, okay? Because you don't need the sound from the live stream because you're on the live stream.
Yeah, I see it. I see the comments. Joe
Yes,
at Learning. I never. Oh,
that's
yeah,
that's
he's
the
right.
guy. Yeah, this is the guy I was telling you about. He's been on my live streams. He is in Australia right now.
Well, I know. I feel for you, Joe. Australia's is a really big asexual dump. Um, well, I mean, they really hate white men down there. Holy shit. That's. I feel for you, Joe. Uh,
We have situation where this is not just in Canada, it's not just in US, there's a whole list of countries that are all going through the same stuff because it is NWO related. It's been deliberately done.
that's yeah. Um,
The Zeitgeist series is something you should watch because it will give you a lot of truth.
yeah, like the video you posted was like was it like 5 hours ago? I saw that video from front to end.
Yeah, I
Um,
understand, but I didn't give you all the Zeitgeist. If you go on my channel itself, like tomorrow, whenever you got time, I put it in my favorites. You can find Zeitgeist 2019. It's like 2 hours and 39 minutes. And when you play it, you'll actually see the other Zeitgeist in the list next to it. You should listen to all of
oh,
the Zeitgeists. They're long, but you should listen to them because it's going to tell you a lot of truth.
oh, for sure. Yeah, like that's true. Right? Yeah, like what he says right there. As you get older, your sex drive goes down. That's correct. I'm experiencing that now. That's a very true statement by Joe.
Well, that will actually help you because as your sex drive goes down, you'll be able to get stronger and more acceptance to the situation you're in.
That's a true statement. That's what I've been seeing. But I'm also seeing a bunch of rich old white dudes with young white girls. It's
That's because if they're rich white dudes, the girl chased them for their money.
that's true, brother. That's. I mean, it's um, like I live in a diverse dump like Toronto, so
Yeah,
I
Alex
see.
Jones went after Zeitgeist. Well, if Alex Jones attacked Zeitgeist, it's because Zeitgeist is telling the truth. See, I know the truth because I've done a lot of research and it wasn't from Zeitgeist. When I ran into Zeitgeist, it matched the information I'd already found. Zeitgeist is telling you the real truth. And the people who attack Zeitgeist is because they don't want you having the real truth.
I mean, so you say that you got like a series of Zeitgeist videos. You could post them up, probably email me them.
Yeah, I've downloaded every Zeitgeist out there, including 2019's. I have them all archived. I've watched them all.
Oh, my dad personally, Joe, is a big ass manjana. I mean, I'm glad I don't have to see him anymore, but he was a big ass manjana when I was growing up. I feel you on that one. The dad was a simp. Oh, my dad was. I'm with you, Joe, on that one.
It's it's
Um,
it's not easy, you know. But the thing with the Zeitgeist 2019, I was able to show you TFL in your face for the people who hadn't done their research. If you paid attention to what I did today, you actually saw where TFL came from.
oh, it was the guy said it was social engineering, but I already knew
Yes,
that, you know.
yep. But I put it in people's face because I wanted to see it from other than me. It's been deliberately done. It's all been socially engineered.
Yeah, I mean, and I'm surprised that video did not get taken down by YouTube, you know, like
Oh,
they
I
didn't
don't.
do.
I've already lost like 4 channels. It's just a matter of when I'll lose this one.
You know, I mean, I think you can still make as many accounts as you want.
Well, I don't
Um,
make a lot at once, and I work mainly on one. Okay, but I've lost 4 channels. I've lost
really,
thousands of videos to YouTube.
you had a video, like your last channel you lost was it Bill something?
Bill 1224602.
That was a good channel. You had some very good YouTube videos on that channel.
My
Yeah.
first channel was Bill 122460.
Oh,
Okay.
this one, yeah, this one had like a one at the number one at the end of it. You had some very good videos on that channel that I can't get access to anymore. But
No, I've lost lots of videos over the years from YouTube taking me
like if you
out
could like archive it,
because truth isn't wanted. You tell truth and you get attacked. People want their lies, and they're going to get their lie. They're going to get lied to like they are already. Since they want their lies, they're being lied to. And the country's going to collapse. Lots of people will end up dead, and they're going to be whining and complaining when it all comes down. And I'm not going to feel sorry for them. And I'm not joking. I will not feel sorry for them because I've come up here so many times. It's just like with cancer. I came up here and showed people hardcore evidence and where they could actually go get help if they got cancer. And what did they do? They blew me off and ran right to the doctor, and now they're dead. 4 times. Okay? People I knew done this to me and then went and died because they ran to their doctor. I'm through
oh,
trying to help people that are stupid. If you're stupid enough to not listen when it's in your face, then you deserve what you get.
I mean, I don't like with cancer like that's like well, I've never been there, but from what I've seen, you know that can take you out really fast.
Cancer
Uh,
is because you're already sick to begin with.
yeah, that's
Most
true. Like your
cancers
immune
are
system.
created because your immune system is already weak. It's broke
That's true.
down because you're not getting the proper vitamins and minerals in your system. Yeah, I mean, the chemtrails, you're breathing in aluminum. People are complaining about cigarette smoke while they're breathing in aluminum.
That's true. I mean, uh, that takes me back to that guy, that Asian guy. What's his name? What's his name again? Amid
Winston
something.
Wu.
no, that amid the insanity or
Oh yes, I don't even talk about. He's a clown.
he,
Okay.
I mean, when you just he made like a video where he said it's like a little diss towards you, and it was like, well, I mean, because you're smoking.
I
I
could
mean,
care less. Do you think
nobody.
he bothers me any? Hell no. You know what?
I,
I have been called every name in the book. If you think I've been here 12 years and haven't been attacked, you should have seen it when when I first brought TFL online. It not only went global, I was attacked every day. I was attacked every single day. I was
oh
every
boy,
foul thing that society has. There's not one thing that's ever been left out. A lot of people would have chickened out and ran and shut their mouth and disappeared, you know. But no, because I know I'm telling the truth, and these people don't know me. They've never talked to me once in their life. See, you at least now are on a live stream and you're actually talking to me. So you stand a chance of actually getting to know me. The majority of all of my attacks, all of them, were from people who don't know me.
that's true. It's like when I didn't know what TFL was until I started feeling like shit. Like when I like in 2015, I couldn't get a date. I was literally alone. I was working full time, and I didn't understand why white females weren't attracted to me. They just were like very asexual. And then I don't know, I went on YouTube one day, I think it was 2015 or 2016, and then I came across, first it was MGTOW. I didn't know what MGTOW was. Then I looked up and said, men going the wrong way. Then somehow I got sucked into TFL, and then I started watching your videos, and it started opening my eyes a little bit more as to why I was feeling this way. You know, hello.
Yeah, well, a lot of people, they wake up to what TFL is because they're living it already. So you had your wake up call, you got to realize, and then you realized you wasn't the only person.
Oh yeah, oh my, it felt like like Steve Hoka said once in his videos. You know, the blue pilled reality is what we live through every day, and that's a true statement. Even today, you know, I'm still seeing single mothers, interracial relationships, asexualism, even today, and it's 2019. You know, nothing has changed that much.
It's not going to change. It's only going to get worse.
I live like. Have you ever watched the news about Toronto?
I don't watch TV.
Oh,
You're going to get
it.
lied to. If you watch TV,
I know.
you're going to
Listen,
get lied
listen.
to. You're going to get some truth in your local area because they don't want you to know you're being lied to. But you're also
Listen,
going to get
listen.
lied to as well.
I live in the most violent city in North America.
You're in
There's
Canada,
two.
so it's not North
Yes,
America.
yes. Toronto has the highest homicide rates in New York. We Can you believe that?
Well, you know what? In today's society, this is what you better get used to.
I don't like single moms, Joe. Thank you for. Oh, yep, Bill.
Yep.
I was just answering Joe. I understand you, Joe. I'm just, you know, I suck at multitasking, so that's for my disadvantages, I
Yeah,
guess.
you could just read his
And
comments and answer him.
yeah,
He'll hear you, okay? So if you just answer his comments and say what you feel, he'll hear you.
yeah. So as I was saying, like my city is the most violent city in North America. You know, I like there's like so much homicides going on in this town, and it's everything is crazy. Like when the reason why I'm bringing this up because it goes back to the blue pills stage. Bad boys, the gangs, the thugs, these idiots contribute to gang violence.
They're victims of society. They contribute to what's going to bring down this country, what's going to bring down Canada. But when this country falls, Canada's going to fall. And there's a whole list of countries. It's going to be just like Donimals. Stand your Donimals up to next to each other, a little bit apart. Knock one down, and it knocks the rest down. That's what you're gonna see as a domino effect, and it's gonna happen. A lot of people are saying, "Oh, it's 50 years, 100 years out." I don't think so. I would suspect within the next two generations, you're gonna see a lot of major shit take place.
Yeah, with the gun violence in Toronto, the police will lie. What I've noticed that they're saying that they get the guns from the American gangbangers, but I mean if that's the case, then the Canadian Border Patrol is really weak. I mean,
Well, the borders are meant to be open.
I know
That
exactly.
bullshit that bullshit about Trump building a wall, that was all an act. That was all a show. He never intended on ever building a wall. Okay? Just like it's all in your face. You got cousin versus cousin for an election. Most people don't even know that Hillary Clinton and Donald Trump are cousins. Okay? So you got these two cousins standing up there running against each other in the Hollywood scripted stage show. Okay? Already knowing they were going to put Trump in. They put Trump in office, and then Trump tells you he's going to build a wall. And then while he's telling you he's going to build a wall during his phony election, George Soros is over in Mexico paying and setting up for the fucking immigrants to walk across the border. Okay? They're not building a wall. They're destabilizing America to bring America down.
Yes,
That's what George
I have
Soros
seen
does.
the Trump's wall is very small. I mean, if you've seen it on TV, I mean, it's very small. Anybody can get through that wall.
It's not meant to stop them from coming. It's all a fucking show.
Exactly. I
It's all
know.
a show, man. You might as well turn on a cartoon and watch the Jetsons. That's how real this shit is. It's not real. It's all a show. It's an act. Just like our last shootings that happened over here. Okay, the one in Ohio and the one in Texas. It didn't really happen. It's a Hollywood act.
Yeah, but the shootings that I'm talking about are real. The gang violence it
That's
is
going to be
real.
real. You're going to have your gang violence and you're going to have shootings because they've divided everybody.
That's true.
Everybody's divided and
That's true. But
everybody's fighting
but the
one another.
shootings,
They're right where they
yes,
want them. As long as you're divided and you're fighting one another, you will never stand together to rise up against your real enemy.
that's true. That is true. Like as I've said before, like with the false flag shootings, like was it like a scrawny white kid goes into Walmart and was it New Mexico for
Yeah,
bulletproof vest?
El Paso, Texas. Yeah. Okay. So he goes into Walmart to gun down Mexicans. All of his victims are white. He changed his pants. He changed his pants before he went to jail for the picture with the police arresting him. Okay. He walked into the Walmart through the door with a pair of khakis on. Now the cops got him ready to take him away, and he's wearing a pair of freaking slacks with brown tan pants. So he changed his pants for the picture. Okay? I mean, he was on a suicide mission wearing ear protection and eye protection. I mean, it's so ridiculous it's not even funny.
I know. I mean, and I don't have any insight on the Dayton, Ohio shoot. I don't know how. I think that's a stage one too because
It
there wasn't
is.
a lot of intel on that one
No,
because
there was all a stage show. The whole thing was
I
both
know
shootings.
exactly. I mean,
Okay, it was all a stage show. I mean, The guy that went into Walmart had a magazine that held 30 rounds. Okay?
Yes,
So the
yes.
numbers keep changing. So last time I looked, we had 31 people, okay? 31 people dead or 20 or something or whatever in the hospital. So he only had 30 bullets.
I know, man. It was just, it looked like a joke to begin with. Like there was like there's plenty of shootings that happen in Toronto, and for the most part, they're very real. I mean, there was a shooting in downtown Toronto, in 2012, and they actually showed people getting shot at. It was not a good scene, man. I mean, it's just,
Yeah. Well,
but it was done.
I tell
But
you
hear
just
me
to
out.
get used. Yep, I
It
just
was
tell you get used
done
to it.
by a black guy,
Yeah. The only thing I can tell you is get
and
used
they
to it.
made sure that they showed people running for their lives, people ducking. I mean, it was crazy. And this was what, 2012? So this was like not just 2012 to 2000, that's 7 years ago. I mean, that guy that did that shooting claimed PTSD, and he's going to jail. It sucks. I mean, that guy claimed PTSD, man.
Well, nowadays you really got to look close at any shooting that happens unless it's gang related. I would look real close at any shooting that happens because
Mm.
Canada is just as complicit as the United States are.
Oh, for
They're
sure.
all in bed with the same criminals.
That's true. That is true. I mean,
They
I just
will
find
fucking do a
it
stage show
funny
on you so fast
that
your head
the
will
shootings
swim.
that involve a white guy, there's not enough evidence to prove that he did anything. But when it comes to like a black guy shooting up a spot, there's evidence. Just
Well, unfortunately, the division is just exactly why division is one of the things I've fought for many years because the answer is simple: divide and conquer. As long as
yes,
we keep everybody fighting everybody, they're never going to stand together to rise up against the real enemy, and the real enemy wins.
that's
And
true.
and when you have this many stupid people in 2019 up here in the manosphere running their mouths that are sound asleep, I mean that's why I said DVS's new name is really very very asleep or very very stupid.
Oh, I haven't really watched his channel that much. I can see how where you're coming from. VPS is a bit asleep for what I've like I seen a few of his videos, but for the most part, yeah, he sounds asleep.
But I think what annoys me most about VVS, he was only 20 years old, so what is he, 21 now? So he's a young man with no life experience. But I think what annoys me the most ain't even the fact he's asleep. It's the fact that he used Steve Hoka to get people to his channel. Okay? Then as soon as he got people to his channel, he shit all over Steve Hoka. That bothers me the most. And it don't matter that he shit on me because he didn't use me to get subs. Okay, so I don't care. I've already been called every name in the book. He's not going to hurt me. Okay, he couldn't hurt me if he tried. But the thing is he used Steve Hoka to get subs on his channel, and then
Oh
and
yes,
then
yes.
dumped on Steve Hoka.
Oh, okay, yeah. Because I remember Steve Hoka. I don't know if is he still doing live streams again or no?
No, Steve Hoka hasn't done nothing in a while. He's got his own life. He's doing his own thing. And I've told
Okay,
people
because
this before.
he did live streams and BBS. I remember he was on that live stream,
Yes, he was.
and what happened was BBS got bored or something, and he just ended the live stream. He said, "I'm tired," and he just ended the live stream, and Steve just ended it right there.
Yeah,
And
well,
I knew,
but the point is he
you
did at
know,
that time he didn't have very many subs. His channel
yeah.
was new, and
So like
he
yeah,
was in Steve's
from
live stream. He was in Steve Oker's channel on his live streams. typing in the comments section and typing in the comments section until Steve brought him in. Okay? He just used Steve to get views to his channel. Once he started getting views to his channel, now he thinks he's better than Steve Hoka, and Steve Hoka's boring. What he did was exactly what I showed you today in that documentary. Okay? He used him for his own damn profit. That's all he did. And as soon as he got his want, he dumped all over him. I have no respect for somebody like that. That 21-year-old guy used Steve Hoka for profit or gain for his own damn selfish want. So I absolutely have no respect for him.
Oh yeah, like I said before, like I said, like Steve Hoka had VPS on his live streams, and they were going for a good, was it over an hour talking about the TFL issue,
Yeah.
and VPS cut the live stream by saying that he was tired, and Steve Hoka just said, "Fuck it, I'll just cut the damn thing," and he did that. He ended the live stream, and I don't think Hoka interviewed him again after that. And then, from what you're saying, is that he then used the cut Steve Hoka and you down
He did. He did. I actually heard it out of his own mouth on his own channel. Okay. I had a guy up here that follows what I do talk and told me about it, and I went over and looked. And sure as enough, I heard it out of his own mouth. Okay. He put Steve down. He put me down. Okay. And he just basically threw Steve under a bus. Okay. So, I'm sorry. I can't reason. And he's sound asleep on top of it. So I have no respect for him. I just took the name he's calling himself VVS and said very, very stupid. Because that's really what it should stand for. That is the very, very stupid channel. This is where you go if you want to listen to somebody who's sound asleep that's all about their own selfish self.
Yeah. Like again, like VVS, he's like his YouTube channel is like, I mean, it's better than mine. It's better because his insight's not better than mine, but his production of his videos are really good, I would say.
Well, you know what? I don't use comparison, okay?
No,
If
exactly,
you
but
want to do what's right, you're going to do it from your own heart.
this is what makes you think low of VVS, because this guy, he uses good production in his videos.
It has nothing to do with that, though. What makes me think low of him is the fact that he
But this is
used
why,
Steve
why
Hoka to get his views.
exactly. But he was building ego,
Yeah,
and
but ego's just like power and greed. It's the same thing, the same result. Power and greed absolutely corrupt the human mind. Ego corrupts the human mind.
I know that's. But it just same with if Monday Forever Alone. I mean, that guy, same thing, ego. Same thing with
Well, but that guy's getting paid to do what he's doing. VVS isn't. See, Monday Forever on Monday is an agent. He's
that's true.
being paid to do what he's doing. Just like
Oh, for
Turd
sure.
Fling and Monkey. They're making money doing what they're doing because they're paid to do it.
Oh, for sure. I mean, they have good production wise. I wouldn't
You know,
blame
well,
them.
I don't even care about the production wise. You want real? Real would be Joe. You want real? Real would be Jay. You want real? Real is Steve Hoka. Real is myself. Real is you. Do you follow what I'm saying?
I see. Yes, I do. I see. Yes.
So
But
that's where that comes from. So I would tell you if you want real, you can have real. But the real is when it's really from your heart, and you really care about other people, and you care about what's going on in this world. That is real. Do you follow what I'm saying?
I am. I am.
That is real. You can't get any realer than that. So you just got to remember When you want to talk about real, that's what real is. It's
Yes, but
not, you know, I'm not up here for money. I'm
I
not
know.
up here for
I'm not saying
views.
you were, but
Yeah, I
BPS,
understand that, and I
his
wouldn't say
ego,
that you would be.
his ego is high. So same with money for Verlone.
I
Same with
call him, well, Monday's an agent, and
I know.
DVS,
Same with
DVS is,
Turfing Monkey.
yes,
Same with
DVS is just,
Sandman. Their
DVS is
egos are
just an
high.
egomaniac, okay?
This means why they would probably boost the production of their videos. Two and two together. Ego and production wise. Goes
Yeah,
together. High views, high subscriber counts. You know, just like that. It's they don't. Like I
yep.
said, like it. Yeah. Anyway, Bill, it was nice talking.
Hey, well,
I'll
Joe's
talk to you.
here. You want to say hi to Joe?
Hey, Joe, I want to leave soon, so
Oh,
uh,
Joe, your sound ain't working. You got no sound, Joe. I'm not hearing you.
I'm not hearing you either.
He had this issue once before.
I mean, I guess I could stay for Joe if he wants to talk. I guess we talk. I could.
If he can get his sound working, he would like you to. No, not yet. Remember what happened that one day? I think it's happening again. Give him a minute and stay put, will you?
I will.
He's going to come in. He definitely nodded his head. He'd like to talk to you. Okay, I know I recognize the same thing. He may have to reboot his computer. Okay? Because that's what happened to him last time. He had a glitch. He rebooted his computer and the glitch went away.
Well, I'm not using a computer. I'm using my cell phone, so I find it kind of easy using your cell phone than a computer. I don't know if that's just me. I'm using this.
Yeah, we'll see.
Like it's a lot easier if you use your cell phone.
Okay, let's see if he's got a sound. Go ahead and say something. Nope, you got no sound. Your mic's not working, put it that way. Just like that one day. Yeah, he tried again. I think he's going to have to reboot his computer before he's going to be heard. He definitely wants to talk to you. I can tell that in his body language. He definitely would love to have you stick around a little while, so I guess give him time to reboot his computer. Then he'll come back up and I'll bring him in and then he'll have his sound. Because that's the
Will
same
do.
thing that happened to him once before. He lost his sound, or not his sound, but his mic. His mic wasn't working and he had to reboot his computer, and then his mic worked. Okay, it's a software glitch, is what he's having. And that's out of his hands. The only thing he can do is reboot his computer, and then his software glitch will go away, and then he'll be heard. So that's really what he's waiting on. He's just, let's just give him a minute for his computer to reboot, and he'll be right back.
Mm-hmm.
So that's what I wait on, is for his computer to reboot. Because once that happens, he'll be back in here. We will do this. Now, he should be offline. He did. He's offline because he's rebooting. As soon as I see him come back online again, I'll bring him in, okay?
That's good.
Because I know what he's doing. He's rebooting his computer. Once he does that, he'll have his mic will work. He had this software glitch once before with his computer. And you're on your cell phone, right?
Yep, it's Laisha.
Oh my God, hold on here. I have to do this a different direction here. Hold on here. So we will do this. Okay. Come on home. No. Chat. Steve. Okay. Invite. Okay. Then we'll go back over here to Joe. As soon as I see Joe come on, we'll be good. Now we'll just wait a minute. We might have Steve Holka here with us in a moment. There we are. So we have Steve
Hey,
with
what's?
us. Hello, Steve.
Hi, Bill. How are you?
Good, and how are you?
I'm doing good. I got to pause you on this other. So how you been?
I haven't been too bad. Not
Okay,
at
good. I
all.
have you on. I have the headset on, so there shouldn't be any feedback coming through this stupid thing.
Okay, well, that's fine. I'm wearing my headset as well. Um,
Okay.
Waiting
Good.
on
Good.
Joe to come back in. Joe will be back here in a moment. The guy from Australia.
Okay, that's fine. The young guy,
No, that
us,
was
it's these
Jay.
young
This one's
whippersnappers there.
yeah. This is Joe. He's 32 actually.
Okay, that's good. He's got some life experience, but I just kind of came in here late, Bill. I'm sorry I didn't get your call. I got your call. I tried to call you the other day, and then you didn't respond, and then so you tried to call me today, and I didn't respond, so we're both even, okay?
Well, yeah, we're even. We've been playing phone tag.
Yeah,
Huh?
yeah,
Because I did. By the time I seen you'd called, it was too late.
that's
And
all right.
you know
Well,
how
listen, Bill, I admire the work you've been doing. Just glad that you're still hanging in there.
Oh yeah. And how are you been?
I've been doing good. Just nothing listen. I always feel that God doesn't put anything on your table, on your plate that you can't handle.
No, I mean, I do what I do. My whole goal is to try to help people.
Mm-hmm.
So that's really what it is. And you see,
Yeah.
we got Mr. True Force, our Toronto, Canada in here. Toronto, Canada Force Loneliness. Toronto Force
Hey,
Loneliness.
Yeah.
Steve.
Yeah. How you doing, Toronto Force Loneliness?
Oh, I'm living in a shithole.
Oh, Toronto's a beautiful city. It's just that the cost of living is getting astronomical. I was listening to an Indians game last year on the radio, and he says that they just keep building and building there. It's like there's no end to it, so it just drives the price of real estate to the roof. So, from a
Oh,
physical
yeah.
point of view, Toronto's a beautiful city. From a political point of view, I don't really know. I don't live there.
Oh, I went. There's some areas in Toronto you don't want to go. Let's just say it. Let's just say it like that, eh? Oh, there's some places here
Yeah.
you don't want to go. There's homeless. There's
Yeah, it's inevitable. This is what happens. Anytime you make a city, anytime you increase the economics of a city, you gentrify it, because what happens is the poor people have no place to go, and
there's
I've seen this happen everywhere, where there's like inner city, all of a sudden, like the Cleveland Clinic is buying up property so that people can move into these nice high rises, and then guess what? The poor people have to go somewhere. So you've always got this rift going on, and I think Toronto was one city that cannot escape that.
like Toronto was really good before World War II. I mean, Toronto was like a
Yeah,
conservative small town. Montreal
yeah,
at that time was a big city at that time. And after World
yeah,
War II, all these immigrants
yeah,
started coming in, and then
yeah,
Toronto.
and yeah, it is, and it's like it's a situation that you really, how do you control it?
That's true. That's true. I mean, Toronto was great up until the 80s. I mean, it was really bad. I mean, it was just not a safe city. I mean, it was still the biggest city in Canada because you got to understand, at one time, Montreal was the biggest city in Canada by population in Toronto. And after
Yeah.
World War II, Toronto overthrew Montreal population-wise, and then like the 80s came, and it just went downhill. I mean, 90s. I mean, it's just now Toronto's considered one of the most dangerous cities in North America. You know.
Well, I was not aware of it. They always promote it as this high-tech city that's on its way up, but you can't. Yeah.
There's gangs here. There's African gangs. There's Jamaican gangs. There's black on black crime. I mean, it's just like
Yeah.
New York. I mean, there's nothing really. I mean, I have nothing. I mean, yes, yes, this is my hometown. I have nothing great to say about it. No. I mean, I think the Raptors winning the championship. I guess that's one good thing. I guess.
Yeah, well, they don't have their superstar player anymore, so that's.
Oh, well, I knew that was going to go downhill.
Yeah,
I mean,
there's no loyalty. There's no loyalty at all. It's just everybody's out for themselves.
Well, Kawhi Leonard. I mean, he's from LA, right? So it makes sense why he'd be going back to his hometown. You know.
Yeah.
I mean, in Canada, the reason why Americans don't like coming playing for Toronto is because they pay a lot. They pay a lot in taxes up here.
Yeah.
I mean, even athletes pay a lot of like their salary really goes into like income tax, and it's like why a lot of Americans don't really like playing for Toronto. Ask any American athlete. They'll tell you Toronto's one of the worst cities to play for.
So, Joe, can we hear you now?
Can you hear me?
Yep, I hear you now.
Okay.
That's what it took. It took you rebooting your computer again.
Yeah,
Steve.
no, I'm good.
Hi, Steve.
So,
Hey,
Nice to-
Jerry.
Nice to hear from you.
yep. So we have Joe actually in the live stream now. He's from Australia.
Hold on, Phil. Do you hear me?
Yep, I hear you, Steve.
Okay, I'm on a different router. I had to move out of. I'm walking around with this thing, so I had to change routers. That's all.
Okay, you got more than one router going over there, do you?
Well, it's. I'm using my cell phone as a router right now because my thing, I can't walk around the yard with it without it. So, yeah, This is better now.
Okay, well, I still hear you just fine.
Crystal clear. That's good to hear.
You sure are.
I think that I have a net pad, and I'm not using my cell phone. I'm using my cell phone as a router.
Well, that'll work. I don't know.
It
I don't have a cell phone that would allow me that because I got my dumb phone.
Well, Bill, I tell you right, they've got internet service providers that are allowing up to unlimited for LGTE or LGT or whatever, and so you can pretty much, I'm not going to cancel my regular routers, but it works fine, so I'm cool.
No, that works. And so, Mr. Canada over there, Joe's in here.
Hey, Joe.
Oh, yeah.
How's things, man?
Fine.
So, are you from Sydney? I heard Sydney's a really bad place to be.
No, Melbourne.
White guy.
Melbourne.
Are you in Sydney or Melbourne?
Melbourne.
No, that's like the second. Is that the second largest city by population?
Second biggest.
Okay.
Let me ask you a question about. You guys talk about Melbourne. You make it look like Australia is a horrible place to be. I don't know. Is this a subjective opinion on it? Because I get the impression Australia is a beautiful place.
Yeah, it is. But it's it's on its way. On its way slowly.
I mean, Sydney. Oh my God, so many MGTOWs are coming out of Sydney, man. I mean, it's just they're really throwing Australia under the bus. I mean, I don't blame them. Sydney's a really bad place.
I have a theory.
It's worldwide. It's worldwide. It's worldwide. Problem's global.
Yeah.
Okay, you can't escape it. You can't escape it. Okay.
The problem I have, and I'm not trying to play the devil's advocate here, but the problem I have with the TFL thing and the incel thing is that it is a problem, but it's not enough that it makes a huge ripple wave in the world because society seems to keep moving forward. I mean, it doesn't seem like it's enough that it would create a catastrophe. I think it's kind of I don't I just don't. It's really hard to put to gauge as to what the percentage is.
Oh,
Just tell him your aspect from what you see where you're at, Joe.
Okay. Well, from what I'm seeing, there's lots of guys out there that are simping out and playing the game to get a girl. There are a lot of guys out there. They're in their 30s that have someone in their life, got kids, got a job, got a house. I'm seeing more of a crease of guys that are in like the 20 bracket that are starting to like miss out and starting to feel outcast and you know um there is I'm in my 30s, so I kind of
Yeah.
missed a boat. I missed a boat with certain things that happened in my life. I'm not going to go into detail about it because it's personal, but um, as a guy nowadays, you have to have certain things for a girl to want you, and you have to play the game. If you're not in the game, if you're not in the clique, then you'll be outcast. It doesn't matter if you're
Yeah.
looking or not good looking. You're gonna feel that outcast treatment because
The way I look at this whole thing, and it's because I'm older, is that when you stop caring, it really doesn't matter anymore because it's like I don't really care. I mean, I have a couple options as of now, but when you stop caring is when you really start to feel liberated because at the end of the day, you save your money, you're not wasting your time. And I think that the people that are struggled the most by TFL are the people that care so much because the more you care about it and the more you go out of your way, the more you're in the
more
field.
you want it.
Like if you run
More you
into
want
a
it.
battlefield with bullet, listen, the point is that I know it's hard for younger people to do, but I think that there is a method to this madness, and it's basically just not giving a shit. This is what MGTOW
Cope,
should have done.
cope
See,
through it. Like it was, yeah.
What MGTOW should have done was MGTOW should have not given a shit, but MGTOW cares too much. And that's why that's why MGTOW was like a get rich quick scheme. There's always new suckers joining it because they all give a shit about getting laid, and that's all they care about. And until that ends, I don't know what's going to happen.
well, Steve, I can answer that one. You're saying like MGTOW believe in the pump and dump situation. That's true to some degree, but there are.
No, I don't think they believe in the pump and dump. I think that they care too much about succeeding in this dating game. I think that we get to and me and Bill can relate to this more because we're older. I think when you stop giving a shit about it is when you really hit when you get your peace of mind. And I think that this is why there's a big divide between younger guys in the manosphere and older guys like me and Bill because we understand more, we have a better reflection, and plus we are more philosophical about the whole situation. Bill, what's your take on it?
Well, I would say that you're correct there because for me, it's always been more or less I don't give a shit. Okay,
Yeah,
one way or the other. And if you actually give a shit, then unfortunately you become your worst enemy because you're going to
yeah,
go out there and you're going to try. And every time you fail, it's going to tear you down, but you still get it. You still care. So you go out there and you get angry, and it just builds up, you know? And so, and the younger guys, this is only going to get worse.
It's more
yeah.
for the younger guys.
Like I did a
Younger
video
guys.
like about 11 years ago. I did a video called 18 to 30-year-old virgin. And I basically said, I basically it said that when if you're 18 right now and you haven't kissed a girl, you're probably not going to go anywhere. You know what? I got 29-year-old guys 11 years later, and they're reporting on this. So I was right. I made some good predictions 11 years ago. I was spot on. It was just amazing. That was back in the heyday of the TFL movement in the beginning, but it was interesting to see that this problem is real, but it's not enough to create a huge I guess what I'm saying is that there's too many things that are distracting, like sports. Professional sports are a huge distraction. That's one of the many things I think that.
Sports, you can use that as like a as like a hobby to keep your mind off things, but as for like going to like sporting events, that's kind of a challenge for most
Well,
TFL
yeah,
guys.
because you're alone. Because you're alone. I mean, I know, I understand. I've gone to games by myself, and I guess what I'm trying to say is that I'm kind of at an equilibrium, and Bill might vouch for this. I'm kind of at an equilibrium in my life where I don't really care anymore. It's not necessary whether or not at the end of the day I'm seen as attractive to a woman or not. It doesn't affect my quality of life. It does not. Stardust will lie about this and say it doesn't bother him, but it does. I mean, I anybody that makes their career out of talking about this incessantly is obviously it bothers them.
Yeah, I mean, like sporting events. I mean, it's going to be like a challenge because, like you said before in your past videos, you said like you go to any sporting event, you're going to see Caucasian couples, and you weren't wrong with that statement.
I'm not be there.
Yeah,
And
but that also takes into consideration the obsessive nature of sports fans. It's always there's always a guy that's got a girl that's also obsessed with it. So it's kind of it's a mutual thing. It's like, okay, if you were a drug addict and you were addicted to crack cocaine, there's a good chance you'd find a woman that was addicted to it too. So you're basically, sports fans are no different than methamphetamine or coke addicts. There's always a man and a woman who can pair up that are addicted to the same thing. Do you follow what I'm saying?
Yeah, I see it. I'm just not seeing a lot of. I mean, like I could relate to like when you said about white couples and sporting events. I see that all the time in Toronto. It's
Yeah. Well, you know what, the problem that like I talked about this many years ago, or even recently. Back in the 1950s, they used to teach a course called logical thinking, where you would think in terms of, instead of making an assumption on something, you would deduce arguments. Like, for example, people use the Tinder example. They say Tinder proves that the dating scene is all about looks. Well, Tinder only affects 10% of the population, because let's face it, most of the women out there are not on Tinder. They don't need to be on Tinder. So I think that what people are doing is they're making these assumptions that everything is all caught up into one. This is why the looks theory isn't 100%, because there are other factors involved in it. So I think the biggest thing is social groups. I mean, if you don't have a social network, you're pretty much screwed.
Well, that part I would totally agree with, because the reality is this: the looks thing has been overinflated.
Yeah, it used to
Okay.
be a big thing, but it's not nearly as much as it was 11 years ago. I mean, I'm seeing changes, now. But go ahead, Bill.
Yeah, well, the looks thing has been overinflated, especially on the internet. And as
Yeah,
far as the dating apps go, I don't care if
yeah,
it's Tinder. I don't care if it's Plenty of Fish. I don't care where it's at, even eHarmony. The reality is, the majority of women are not going to be on these apps because they don't need to be on the apps, because the majority of women get hit on all the time anyhow.
yeah.
That's true. For what I'm seeing on dating sites, I'm seeing a lot of white girls. A lot of them don't have kids, and they're around my age. I don't know if you guys have seen that too. You go
Well,
on a
yeah,
dating site.
you're right. You're right. They're not going to have kids, and the only white girls that'll have kids are in small towns, and so you're
Oh,
not you
God, dude,
don't have.
my language. You're speaking my language.
I swear to God, I can't talk because you're talking. We need to kind of keep this, but it's. I understand the frustration, but I think that as you get older, you're going to start to mellow out to this. Is that there's many variables to this problem, and there's the TFL problem is a problem, but it isn't enough to shake the. It's not going to cause an earthquake or anything.
But, yeah, well, it's been going on for neon, so nothing we can. I mean, if like my solution would be if females, could wake up. I don't think that'll ever happen.
No,
A
they
lot of
have to
females
change.
feel
They have to
asleep.
change. They don't have to change. Guys have to change.
Well, you know what? I don't think there's I've always said, I've said in the last 7 years, ever since,
have it easy.
ever since Mitchell said this, Bill, you need to mute that. I need to talk, and I don't think that we'll solve this problem in our lifetime unless people figure out a way to cope in life. Like I'm not a big how do I say that? The self improvement thing is a stupid thing. Yeah, I mean, if you want to do the right thing, do what what you're good at, stick with it. You know.
PUA, I was never a big fan of PUA to begin with. It was a fraud to me. I was just not into it. You know.
Yeah.
You guys speak a certain way to a female. I just couldn't grasp. I mean, I think I told you that. Like, I have like a little bit of a speech disorder, so I don't think PUA would help me.
Yeah. Well, PUA's been around a long time. Listen, I was at the beginning of it when I remember when these books, before PUA came out, there was a big plethora of books out there. I think the bottom line is that the powers that be figured out that this demographics and the social change was happening 20 something years ago. And that's why they came up with this PUA stuff, because we all know Eben Pagan is not really who he says he is. David D'Angelo, that stuff was all engineered very scientifically. It was able, and of course, I think PUA. There are some people buying into this scam, but it's kind of been on its way out, at least in the last 10 years. It really hasn't done much.
Oh my! I think there was an episode of Dr. Phil, and he had like a PUA guy on that show, and it was a white guy, and the white females were just giving it. Oh, I mean, he was saying bad boys coming first, and I mean the white girls were just calling him a misogynist asshole. I mean, it could have also.
Yeah, but I will say something. The Dr. Phil show changes the narrative. They try to make it look like the stuff in fact does work when it clearly doesn't. So they're controlling the narrative as it is.
Yeah, I mean, even before, like, even in the early '90s, I think PUA was at its peak back then. You could probably relate to that, Steve, or no? Or the early '90s, like PUA. I mean, there was some like some female talk host would have like a white PUA guy up there, and he'd be getting booed again at the same time. You know, like a lot of females should just tell him that, you know. I mean, like, let's face it, every PUA book that's been written has been done by a white guy. I mean, it's true. You know?
Well, to recently. Recently, your newest pickup artist is a female, okay? And I would still go back and say, just like what you'd hear anywhere else, PUA was problem reaction solution, profiting off the backs of what they created.
Yeah, I mean, like for PUA, with that Player Supreme. I mean, that guy stood by the PUA technique, and he was. I mean, that guy was bragging about all the females he was attracting onto his YouTube channel, and yeah, and unfortunately he died. But you know,
I didn't
he
put
was.
much empathy into Player Supreme, only for the fact that Player Supreme, okay, is simple. Player Supreme pushes game. Now, as Joe would say, you got to play the game. But I've always been against the game because another human being's emotions and feelings should never be a game to be played with.
Right.
So let Joe chime in here. Joe, what do you think about this topic?
About what topic?
PUA.
It's all kind of like
The pickup artist.
PUA.
Yeah.
I don't really follow it. I just hear you talk about it, but I don't really follow it. I don't really. I say it's be yourself, really, but that's not enough these days to be yourself. You know.
Yeah. Okay.
I mean,
well, Steve's Steve. He's done some really good PUA pickup artist stuff over the years.
yeah.
Steve really has.
Yeah. I have, I haven't kept it all up online, but I've talked basically that I did a video. I think if I can find it, I'll get back to it. It's
When you
called
work
PUA. It was called PUA equals CIA. And I basically believe that this stuff really, they kind of knew all along that this was going to happen. And they had to create some sort of safety relief valve for it. I don't know how the technically, it seemed like there's these brilliant people that just figured out what was going on. I just don't buy this. These were just some marketers. I think that this was stuff that was structured at a very high level. What do you think, Bill?
Yes, definitely, definitely. Okay. I would go back to what you said, CIA. I'd say
Yeah,
because TFL was socially engineered. It's all through social engineering.
yeah,
They already knew the outcome, and so they
yeah. They
did
knew
just.
that there was going to be all these men out there that couldn't find anybody.
Yep. They knew that was going to happen ahead of time, so they gave you the relief valve, PUA.
Yeah. And what I try to tell older, if you're a guy in your 40s or 50s or 60s, whatever, whether you're divorced or whatever, just hang in there. I mean, life is worth living. I don't, George Carlin, I think George Carlin was of the opinion that life was not worth living. I don't agree with that. I think that there's a method to this madness,
That's true. Yeah, I believe that too, Steve. Yeah.
And what's
Yeah. It sucks
what's the
being
method? What's the method to this
Well,
situation? What can you do?
the method I can tell you what works for me is
Okay.
to somehow develop and this literally, you have to literally mean it. You can't fake it. You have to literally just say, screw it, I don't really care. That when you're at home on a Friday or Saturday night, you have to be happy with. I was just reading a technical manual on air conditioning just today. I was spending a half hour, and I thought, this is like, I didn't believe how knowledgeable I was in the field of air conditioning. I can open up a book in the middle of the book. I know exactly what they're talking about. That is amazing. And now it took me years to do that, but that alone is enough to say, hey, this is worth, spending a weekend doing, so it's kind of like, I don't have to base my value on something so superficial.
Yeah, about something that's a comment about sex bots. To me, that would be unproductive to society, in my opinion. But
But see,
sex
it's
bots.
hard for me to talk to a guy that's 22 because, like VVS, I mean, VVS's mind is only in sex. He doesn't have a reference point on anything. So his even though he comes across as intelligent, his reference point is never going to be where me and Bill's is until he's like in his 40s.
Mm.
I think I said this before. I haven't watched some of his stuff. He does put a lot of time in the production of his videos, though.
Well, he is now. I could do that too. Listen, the production thing is all a matter of just using OBS. I could do the same thing. I could pick out articles. I don't have the time for this shit. Being on video is very time consuming, and Bill knows it too because Bill's at home all the time now. But it's very time consuming, and who has the time? I don't have the time to spend 6 hours a day editing video and doing all that stuff. I mean, I could become a master video editor with pre-template software, but I don't have the time, and I have no ambition to really do that now.
Well,
Yeah.
and some of the stuff on OBS is even more so than that. Okay,
Yeah.
because what we have is a situation with OBS, you end up literally having to have more than one person, a crew of people, helping you do it because you can't do it all plus do the show.
Hello?
Hello, Warren.
Hey, I just got off work and just got in, man. Let me tell you some crazy shit, man. Listen to this. I had this woman at my job send me what I thought were obvious signals that she was interested in me. So I asked her for her number today, and it turns up, then she, she's not interested. She's like, well, I'm just going to go out and drink with a friend tonight. It's like, okay, cool. So I got a bunch of weed at my house. Okay, well, cool. You deserve it. And it was just some shit like that. I'm sitting there thinking like, and you guys guess what? She come up later on that night after she had left. She already left work. Coming later on the night with her, I don't know, her date, whatnot. And go figure out. He's a 6 foot tall fucking Chad.
Oh, man. Oh, that sucks, man. Fuck.
Of course.
Typical.
Well, Warren, Joe's here tonight. If you want to say hi to Joe, he's here. And as you can tell, Steve is with us as well.
Hey, Warren.
Hey, how you doing, man?
Buddy, I understand
I'm okay.
what you're going through. I have a speech impediment too. It sucks.
I always do that. False hope.
Hello?
You false hope.
You guys hear me okay?
Yep, I hear you.
Yeah.
Okay, I must have got disconnected or something. Go ahead. So anyways, I was saying about OBS. OBS is a great software. You can do screen capture and all that stuff. It takes about 15 minutes to learn it, and I know how to use it, but I just haven't really I haven't been sitting around and doing too much time. But I guess, Bill, what I'm saying is that these younger guys are really in a ride for their life because their testosterone's through the roof and they want to meet somebody, but I don't know.
It's not going to be easy for him. It's just not going to be easy. You know, even like what Warren was telling you tonight, that is what people might want to get used to, because the reality is we have social engineering. We have too many people that are self-centered, selfish about themselves.
Right.
And we don't have care anymore. People don't care about anything but their own selfish wants.
Yeah,
here's
but Bill,
another thing,
I
Bill.
don't think. Let me just say one thing, Bill. I know you lecture on that all the time about people need to start caring about one another. It's kind of a known thing. I don't think you can mandate that. I don't think we should mandate that. It kind of has to happen with the zeitgeist. You can't say, well, you need to start caring for one another. Well, why should people? They don't have any incentive to do it. There's no incentive for people to care for each other. So they really can't mandate something that there's no incentive for.
Well, now I understand what you're saying. But but unfortunately, on an individual basis, if people don't do that, that don't plan on anything positive or any kind of positive changes ever happening.
Bill, you cannot. I guess what I'm trying to say is, you cannot mandate people love one another. You can't mandate people start caring about one another. It works like this: if you have family members that are doing economically very well, and you have a couple family members that are not doing well, there's no incentive for the family members that are doing very well to help the others, because they don't need each other. I mean, it's just that simple. And so you can't say people need to start caring for one another. Well, why?
Well, you know what? I agree with you. At the same time, I agree with you, Steve. I'm still going to stick with the facts are the facts. Nobody can complain about what's getting ready to come down when it comes down just because of that alone.
Yeah, but Bill, then you have another thing called the blame game. People will blame it on anything but this.
It don't make it true. It doesn't make it true.
But it's like I really believe that if there if TFL were to hit a critical mass, they'll just play the blame game. They'll say men are irresponsible. They may even say women are responsible, but they'll play the blame game. Yeah. We don't even know what's going on in Japan. Well, Japan, we don't really know the whole situation with Japan. We don't know that it's the men or the women. We don't know really what the problem is.
Well, we know what I know is this: like they have an extremely high number of like 2 out of 3 men, I think, are like incel or TFL whatnot.
Right, exactly. And
because of that. And because of that, a lot of these men are called. It's the same thing that a lot of us are doing here. Pretty much what I'm doing over here is they do what they call hikikomori. In other words, they drop out of society and they just get a job that just pays enough just to get them by. They have to do minimal work, and they don't really invest much in society. They pretty much just sit around and play video games and drop out and just let society fall to the wayside because they got nothing to invest in. I mean, this society doesn't want them.
Right, exactly. Well, yeah, I mean, I think you're right. People don't want them, and I don't claim. Listen, Warren, you're older now. You're 40 years old now, or 39. It's kind of like, I think you're probably at the point of no return where you've said screw it.
Yeah. Well, it's weird. Like, and this is one thing that pisses me off about women, right? Is they'll sit around and flirt around with you, and give you all these signs they're interested, and they're not interested in you at all. They're just playing games, and this is considered normal behavior in society. People are like, oh, it's just women being, it's just the way they are. No, this is the way we allow them to be. There was a time when, if you were flirting around with a guy who you had no potential romantic interest in, you're going to be slut shamed and chased out of town. It was understood that the only time you flirt with a guy is if this is the guy that you're dating or you're married to. That's it. You don't flirt around with guys that you're not attracted to.
Mm-hmm.
And that was for good reason, you know. And back in the old days, man, like you knew who was taken and who wasn't, because if they were taken, they'd have a ring on their finger.
Right.
Yeah,
I
like
mean,
as you were saying, Warren, about Asia, you got to look at white countries in Europe. I mean, the fertility rate of white countries is very low. Italy's fertility rate is at 1.2. Spain's fertility rate is at 1.1. And you got to understand about the migrants that are coming over, right? And taking, you know, like you were talking about Asia, about how asexuality is just destroying their population, while it's doing the same thing to like white countries in Europe, Italy,
it's happening all over the world.
France, Spain, Germany, Greece.
Well, that is true. It is going on all over the world, but you got to remember, this is all social engineering, and it's all linked right back to NWO. So of course it's happening all over the world. I mean, this is the part that astounds me. How people can think that this is normal, or how they think, no, it's only happening here in America, okay? When it's actually a global problem because it is NWO related, okay? You know, I put up a video earlier today, and I put a clip from Zeitgeist 2019 in this video that told straight truth right in your face. And anybody that wants to deny that, you can deny it to your blue in the face. But if you just keep turning your head to the truth and play denial, then I don't feel sorry for you when shit goes down, because as long as you turn your head to the problem, you have no room to complain about the problem when it happens. Because
Yeah, but Bill,
I'm sorry, but I don't feel sorry for anybody that wants to complain when the problem comes down. Because if you've been showed it and told it and showed it and told it, and you turn your head and deny when it happens to you, you really got no room to complain.
Keep going.
Yeah.
Keep going.
Well, as far as this dude saying they're offering the solution, sex bots. Well, yeah and no. I mean, here's the thing you got to watch out for with the sex bot revolution. I don't have nothing against people wanting to go out there and get a sex bot. I thought about it myself, man, if one was available. The red herring of it is they want to use this to sell transhumanism. And you see all these dumbass retards on here talking about the bit the fucking hook, line, and sinker. I mean, you know, yeah, transhuman. You see these motherfuckers on incel forums and shit. Like prior to this whole incel shit blowing up, it was mostly a bunch of libtards that were supporting this shit, man, and like a bunch of these social justice warrior types and all this shit, and all these people that gush their panties on anything under the banner of science. You know, I mean, now it's like you got all these incel people coming up, like, oh, well, transhumanism is like, dude, transhumanism is the most dangerous idea known to humankind.
Yeah, I mean, like sex bots. I never was a fan of the sex bots theory. I mean, a lot of MGTOWs are clinging on to that sex bots as something, but.
Well, you know, the reality is this. This is for people who are sexually driven and think everything's about sex. They're going to run for that sex bot, okay? But a relationship in real life was never meant to be about sex. There was a reason, but there was a reason sex was always at the back of the list when you followed the steps to proper meeting and dating and a real relationship. When you move sex from the back of the list to the front of the list, you help destroy the foundation of society.
I agree to that, Bill. But here's the thing: most of these people that want sex, they don't just want sex. They want a relationship, which they can't get. So they're having to substitute for a relationship with a robot.
Yeah, I understand what you're saying. I do understand that. But but I'm still going to stick to the point is, that clip I put in on Zeitgeist today because I have all of the series on Zeitgeist, and I don't care what people tell me. They tell stone cold truth in that damn series. And if you turn your back to the truth and deny the truth, when shit happens and there's blood on the streets, I don't care if you come whining to me and complaining it's going on, because as long as you've turned your back when it was shown to you, you were complicit on allowing it to happen. That's the way I feel about that, because how else would you say it? You turn your back, you turn your back. So if you was in a building that was on fire and you're on the 40th floor and Joe come up there and told you the building's on fire, get out, and you turn your back and ignore him, well, when Joe's on safety and you're trapped and dying, should Joe feel sorry for you? Why would he? He tried to get you to leave, but you turned your back and ignored him and blew him off, so he went on his way. That's really what that comes from.
Yep.
So that's the reason
Well,
I say what I
using a
say.
better analogy, not only did he blow you off when you tried to warn him, he pretty much told you go fuck yourself.
Yeah.
Probably threw a turd at you too.
Exactly. That's the reason. I'm not trying to be hypocritical with people. I'm not trying to be an asshole with people. But the fact is, truth is the truth, and it doesn't matter what you feel. The point is, if you turn your back to the truth, when bad shit happens, and you're caught up in the middle of what you don't want happening, then you better remember you turned your back, you didn't care enough to help stand up to stop that corruption. So now that it's happening, you're going to whine about it. I don't feel sorry for you because I can't.
Yep.
That's where I
Yep.
come from with that. It's not to be an ass towards anybody. It's just the facts are the truth is all out here. And if somebody tells you the truth and you ignore it or refuse to believe the truth, then you got blood on the streets because you ignored it. I'm not going to feel sorry for the whiner at that time that ignored it when they were told. You know who I'm going to feel sorry for? The people that knew it and tried to do something that was blowing off and called names. Them are the people who I'll feel for, not the people that was calling the names and refusing to believe what was going on in their face.
Bill, how do you think society works that where, you know, you talk about this stuff, whether it be the conspiracies or Zeitgeist or TFL, this stuff seems to be so irrelevant to the average public. Because let's face it, the average public, we're out in society, we're in the matrix. You know, how do we know this is not just a subjective argument?
Oh, actually, it isn't. It's in people's face. You know, have you watched, Steve, I guess the best thing I could tell you is, if you watch, Steve, in the video I posted up today, I would suggest you watch at least an hour and a half of the 2019 Zeitgeist. If you would take the time to at least watch half of the 2019 Zeitgeist, I mean, there's no denying what they told you. It's straight factual truth in your face.
Why do you think that they're not talking about the TFL issue, though? Why is that one issue that they won't touch?
Well, because, what did I say? The core of TFL, it's just like an apple. You got the seeds in the core, the middle. Okay? Mm-hmm. The actual core of New World Order is the dating arena. And why? Because this is the simple way of reality. The dating arena is where you get procreation and birth from. This is where pregnancies happen at. And when you look at the Georgia Guidestones, they not only told you what they want to bring the population down to, they told you what they want to keep the number at worldwide, globally, in your face. Well, how would you keep that number at that level if you did not divide the genders and do everything possible to control the birth rate?
Okay, but
part of that's
let me
controlled
get back.
Opposition. Part of that's controlled opposition because too, most of the truth movement, are shills that are paid by the damn CIA.
Okay.
That's no lie. If they're on a major Patriot radio show network, man, that allows them to be there, that means they have to. That means they have bosses in that network they have to answer to. And if they get out of line,
Well,
they'll just cut it. I mean,
yeah,
part's
a lot
but
of
I
these
will
people
say,
are agents.
yeah, I know, I understand that, but Bill, these are also what I'm saying is that you say you agree with the Zeitgeist movie, but they not once do they talk about the dating scene.
Zeitgeist. Oh yes, though you didn't listen to the 2019, did you?
Oh no, I didn't listen to it. No.
They freaking actually pointed out where TFL came from.
Yeah, but who do you think's making this movie? Because they're using multi-million-dollar graphics.
Well,
and
you know what?
I mean, they're
But now listen. This is a documentary, right? I'll give you a
right.
good example. Alex Jones attacked the Zeitgeist series.
Okay, so you think that the Zeitgeist is more authentic than Alex Jones?
Oh, hell yes. That's
Yeah.
not hard to figure out. If people still fall for Alex Jones, there's no hope for you.
Well, it makes me wonder too that, even a lot of the white supremacist movements have stated that there are people working behind the scenes trying to educate people. So it's possible that the Zeitgeist movement is maybe a movement of people that do know what's going on, and they have, in other words, there's underground funding for a truth movement, because there's got to be somebody out there that's on the side of righteousness. You know what I'm saying? It can't be all evil, Bill. I can't imagine that everybody out there who's promoting these fancy videos is evil.
Well, I'm not saying that everybody's out there that's promoting these fancy videos are evil. I'm
No,
telling
that's
you,
what I'm saying. I'm saying my point is that there's got to be somebody out there or some group out there who are opposing this New World Order agenda, that have money, that have the ability to make these multi-million-dollar Alex Jones style videos.
well,
Because
no,
I mean that.
Alex Jones, understand this, okay? I don't know if you understand this or not, but try to, okay?
No, I do. I've been around the block a long time. Go ahead.
Okay. Well, first off, the root of all evil is your money.
Yeah.
Okay? And Warren already told you what Warren was very, very correct about is you cannot, even a reporter, a journalist, an investigative journalist, or somebody that's speaking out that's going to be in the public view, they are 100% controlled on what they're allowed to talk about and say.
Right.
If they come up and tell truth, it'd be like we're going to have Warren up on CBS tomorrow, and we're going to go ahead and break down TFL. That would be a no-no, not allowed.
Mm-hmm.
And if Warren attempted to do it and done it, they would not only edit him out, and if he was in a situation where it was live, they would suddenly go to a commercial to shut him up.
Right. Yeah, go ahead, Warren. Talk.
Yeah. I didn't have nothing to say. I was just listening.
Okay.
Because the reality is what it is. Okay? Unfortunately, we have sold out to money, and I don't know any other way to put it. People want, you've got to have money to live, okay? And people get greed and people want more. There's never enough, and that happens for a lot of people. Now, I'm not greedy in that way. Steve, I know you're not that way, you know what I'm saying?
All right.
But we can't judge other people that way. Go ahead, Warren.
The way this thing works is like a pyramid scheme. Like it's all like a big pyramid scheme. Like everybody's on a need to know basis, right? And depending on where you're at in the pyramid, determines how much knowledge you have access to. And so, I mean, the corruption of the lower levels feeds into the higher levels and keeps the higher levels moving. So, I mean, it's kind of like the people at the top of this system, as far as we can see, are largely psychopaths, and they depend on that type of personality existing at every level of the, I guess, of what you call the matrix, if you will. And if you know about psychopathy, because psychopathy gets thrown around as as an overgeneralized term for crazy people, but I mean, psychopathy is actually a clinical condition.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying?
There were two definitions of psychopathy. There's called societal psychopathy and genetic. And I think the majority of the people are caught up into what's called societal psychopathy, which is they behave in the way they're expected to, versus the real psychopath, the genetic one, like a Ted Bundy. They're driven by their own evil side that is irrelevant to society. So, you know, I don't like to generalize that all people are evil. I just think that people are just doing what society expects them to do. I don't.
Yeah, most people aren't evil. I think most people are generally good at heart. I mean, majority of them, I won't say all, but majority of people are generally good at heart.
Right.
But they're brainwashed, and they don't. And because of that, they don't realize the implications of their actions. Sometimes, or some of the things that they do, or some of the things that they're supporting.
Yeah.
I don't mean that they're bad people.
Yeah.
There are good people in Nazi Germany that just didn't know any better, and they supported the Nazis because they thought it was the right thing, and they were probably good people at heart.
Right.
You know,
we've had a history. We've got a history full of exactly what Warren's talked about right there, and you know, and even when you really pay attention to Zeitgeist 2019, it's a really a good eye opener, because I do have the Zeitgeist series, and even the research I've done has always backed that stuff up. And when you really apply critical thinking skills and your life experience, like what you have, Steve, from your age and living and being out there, and you really apply your thinking to what's being said there, it's apparent and it's in your face.
Shit.
To exactly what's going on.
Right.
Okay? And I don't know how we're going to change it, because it's gone on for so many years. You know what I'm saying? I wouldn't even begin to be able to tell you how are you going to change it, you know? Because it's almost to a point anymore where it's like you need to push the reset button.
Yeah. I think that I mean, I don't know, man. I've been through over all my head. So much of this to me just seems like there's all kinds of functional problems within the human dynamic, man. And I've got very black pilled on all this stuff, man. Like, it doesn't seem to me like like we're biologically cut out to have a free apex meritocratic type society. I mean, because there's individuals that might be capable of that, but they're usually far in a minority. Generally speaking, I mean, it's just not going to work out, man, for various reasons. Another thing you got to understand is, you know, if you want to have a chance to have a free society, you're going to have to keep it small. You're going to have to keep it in small communities. The problem with that is, now how do you avoid inbreeding? I mean, if you do that, and not to mention the fact that how you're going to defend yourself against larger communities that want to kick your shit in and take it.
Well, like I wanted to say, Warren, about like that thing called demographic changes. They call it gentrification. That happens when rich people will buy up large tracts of land. We have such a division between rich and poor in this country that it doesn't make it possible for people to function at a communal level anymore, you know? And so, and I don't know where all this money's coming from, but it's boggled my mind, because you know, I can't see myself ever making more than 80,000 a year, or 60,000 or whatever. And there's people out there that have money that are able to bypass this bullshit, pardon my language, but they're able to bypass all the freakery of life, and they're able to do this. And Bill, although I do agree with what you're saying about the New World Order agenda and these people, there is a lot of greed and ego involved in this too. It's not just
they can print money out of thin air. If you're high up enough, like the Rothschilds, like they run the monetary system globally.
Yeah, but I'm not talking that high. I'm talking about the fact that there are people out there who have money that can change the demographics in a big way that it even leads to more division, you know?
Well, they do, but a lot of times it's profiteering off the backs of others.
Yeah.
Okay? When
Yeah.
you don't care about others, then you don't care if you make profit off others. Okay?
Right.
So if you're making profit off of human suffering, it shows that you have no empathy for anybody else because that profit means more than you to anything.
Right. I mean, I don't think the average person even understands that. I think they just kind of do what they have to do to survive. I mean, Bill, we would have to literally live in everybody's you know, a lot of truthers, the problem truthers have is they assume that everybody is a lemming and stupid, and they don't know that you'd have to live in their household to know what goes on to even be able to make a judgment, you
Well,
know?
you know what? You're correct about that, Steve. What you but look at the
Yeah.
fact that people are a lot of people, not everybody, of course. Nothing's ever concrete everybody, okay? But
Right.
you have a high number of people that they're driven by success, and that's all that means anything to them is that money, right? And they'll do anything and step on anybody and walk on
Right.
anybody to
Right.
move up the line, right? So when you take that into consideration, then you
Yeah.
take egomaniacs into consideration. If I was to go with the last thing that I disrespect DBS for is the fact that he come over to Steve Hoker's channel. He typed and typed and he got in Steve Hoker's live stream, and he had just begun his channel, was up speaking out. He said some really good stuff, right? But he don't have no life experience because he's young, right? He goes over into his channel and he's sound asleep. And as soon as he has as many subs or more than Steve, what does he do? Well, Steve Hoker's boring. Bill Greathouse is boring. They're both conspiracy theorists. Okay? So what did he do? He took Steve and used him, and as soon as he had enough subs, he threw Steve under the bus.
Right.
Okay?
Yeah, and Bill, I'm going to tell you something. When I ran for political office for that short time, I noticed that same thing is that there were people that, and I didn't experience the brunt of this. The other candidate did. Is that people will do whatever they got to do to get ahead. They don't care what means, and I never reverted to that type of shit. And all I've learned is that phony people seem to attract other phony people. And I've watched this in the political races on a local level, even on my experience, is that people will do whatever they got to do to sell you or anyone under the bus to get themselves ahead.
That's correct. That's absolutely correct.
Yeah.
And Bill, it's evil because I saw this happen on a local level, how it worked, and I was naive to think that, oh well, there's a nice approach to this. Let's just all be friends and get along. And I was wrong. I was dead wrong. I didn't realize
Good
how
float.
and it got to the point where like you get Catholic priests involved in these political campaigns and they're blessing the ceremony. And I thought, this is absolutely insane. I mean, this is absolutely mind-boggling that this goes on in the world. This is why people, I think, lose faith in religion, because they realize that even the ministers and the priests and whatever, they support these systems.
That is absolutely correct. You know, Steve, the only good thing that I'll say came out of that for you was
Yeah.
it gave you an eye opener to what was really going on. Okay?
Yeah, and because the people that I tried to help, even after I don't want to get into all the details but I went into a lot of things where I tried to help a lot of people, and in the end I thought, well, people are going to show gratitude. No, they threw shit in my face, and I realized that I was so naive to how the political process really works, even on a local mom and pop level.
Yes. You know, I had a couple of neighbors when I was with my ex, Jack and
Yeah,
Helena, and
right.
Jack and Helena had a really good friend that was a lifetime friend that actually got elected into a local position like mayor, and then
Yeah,
they moved up, and when he was mayor, he was still a good friend of him, right? Well,
right.
they were telling me he actually got freaking elected into a congressman position and went to D.C. And they saw him like 7 years later, and he wasn't even the same guy no more. He was
Yeah,
cutthroat, freaking psychopath. They couldn't even stand him.
yeah. And Bill, I learned that because like when I was fighting and doing my activism for the sewer thing, there were some people that were on my side, and I realized that some people just turned on me. And Bill, I was naive to think that I was going to be this guy that would fight something and try to win the game. And I realized that, here am I in my mid to late 40s, and I'm thinking, oh, I've got it all figured out. No, you don't. You need to step back and realize who you think are your friends. I'm telling you something, Bill. This leaves politics and egos leaves a very bad feeling in your. All I did was the right thing, Bill. I tried to do the right thing, and I was naive to think I could change everything.
Steve, you know
I'm gonna
what?
tell you something right now. I'm
Yeah,
gonna
go
tell you
ahead.
something right now.
Yeah.
Is be strong-minded, man, because this shit will fuck with your head. I mean, the more you know, the more
Yes,
it's gonna
it
fuck
did.
with your head.
Warren, it did. I don't want to get into all the details. I may tell Bill in private, but there were so many intimate details I have about this election 2 years ago that were so ugly. And it was watching the candidate running, fighting the other candidate, and then they attacked me. And eventually, my videos on YouTube were brought out. But it wasn't a big issue with the election. It had very little effect. But the desperation factor was getting evil, and it was jumping. It was jumping around, and somebody attacked me, and they decided, and they did it anonymously. They didn't show their face. It was really vicious. But here was the thing. Let me say one thing. I told one guy even said to me, your seminar for stopping the sewer was the biggest waste of time I ever had in my life. I thought, here I was, I organized this thing. I spent $1,000 flying a guy into town, or $800 to get this guy into town, and all I got out of it was, you're an idiot for trying this. And it was really ugly. I felt like a freaking idiot for even, why was I doing what I did?
Well,
Look at something like Red Cross, man. This is a good example of this, man.
Yeah.
Like, they depend on there being disasters so that they'll have a job, so they'll have something to relieve. Right? That's
Right.
how general rule of thumb how the system works.
Mhm.
Well, I can tell you all kinds of crazy stories about. I mean, I've known people that were involved with the Red Cross, man. There's some dirty shit going on with the
Yeah.
Red Cross during
Right.
Katrina.
yeah. Well, yeah, that's
Well,
correct, but Steve, I don't actually blame you, because the reality is this. I've told you
Yeah.
this before. Steve, you're very brutally honest like I am,
Yeah.
and you
Yeah.
have a heart and you care. And so you
Yeah.
tried to do what was right. And in
Right.
doing so, you actually found out how evil our world really was.
Yeah, and not only the
Yeah.
people that you're trying to help start fighting you, and they say, "Well, you don't got your facts straight, Mr. Steve. You don't got your facts straight." I says, "Yes, I do." I said, "The reason they're putting in this sewer system is not because our septic tanks are corrupt or crooked, or I mean, are polluting. Is because they want to build a development and they want to expand the sewer district, and this is how they do it. And it's very ugly. It's expensive. It's very destructive to the environment, and I know exactly what they're doing. And it's just like people just can't get it through their thick heads what they're up against. And by the way, I succeeded in stopping this for 2 or 3 years, but when this thing comes to full swing, people are going to get the full price tag for it, and it's going to be more than they thought. So I'm praying for the best, but I'm hoping. I don't know what's going to happen.
Well,
Yeah.
Steve, you did what most people wouldn't do, and you did it from your heart.
Bill, I spent tons of hours going out talking to people. You can't imagine. I mean, what like I said before, it's just that I feel that people, the more you try to help people, the more they want to fight you, and these are the very people that will be affected by this. So I had 350 constituents that potentially we could still fight this, but looking at politics for what it is, it's ugly.
It
And
really is. That's the only
yeah,
reason I told you to watch the first half of the 2019 Geitzeist, is because
yeah,
you're gonna recognize so much of this stuff with your own
yeah,
eyes, and
yeah. Bill,
they do an
and
excellent job of breaking down what's really taking place And if you listen close enough, they actually told you where TFL came from. They didn't use
Well,
the
good.
words, but they actually told you and showed you, and it's right in your face.
Well, I'm going to watch it, Bill, because, but Bill, like I said before, everybody has to take a stand in the world. You do the best you can. And listen, Bill, I'm a single guy. I don't have the economic responsibilities as like people with 3, 4 kids. If people want to fight me on these things like the sewer thing, they can all they want to. But I'm praying that they understand what's going on, because I fought very hard, and I'm still fighting to stop this thing, because it's very economically disastrous for people.
Well, you know what's going to happen one day, Steve?
Yeah.
The people in your area that heard what you had to say that are not in the political arena, okay, they're going to look back when this thing comes in and they get the bill for it.
Yeah,
And
they are getting a huge bill for it. Yeah.
That's right. They're going to look back and they're going to remember you. And they're going to go,
Right.
damn it, we should have listened to him.
Yeah, well, Bill, and like I said, it's called cognitive dissonance. They may not even care. They'll see, because I'm so brutally honest. And I think, Bill, you're right about one thing, that we live in a world where phony people adhere to other phony people. It only works that way. You cannot, honest people don't fare very well with phony people. You know what I'm saying?
No, I mean, in today's society, being honest gets you attacked by a lot of people.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah,
We live in a very fake society.
Yeah, it is. It's like you have to, like when I saw this, when I was driving a service van last year, all over Cuyahoga County, I see these big green pipes sticking out of people's yards. And guess what's next door? Ryan Holmes Development. Ryan Holmes petitioned the politicians, we need sewers. So everyone else who's got a functioning septic system's got to pay for it now. And Bill, I know this is just one issue. I realize it's one of many issues, but it shows you, if you're not aware of what's going on, you're going to get steamrolled out there. You don't know.
Yes.
You have no.
You're so correct. Okay,
Yeah.
that is the reality. And
Yeah.
I hate to be the way I am to people, but
Yeah.
I am so sick of what I see going on, and I've watched and I've learned in my life that it's to a point anymore with me when all the truth that you can find is in your face.
Yeah, it is. It's in your face.
Yep, and
It doesn't
you deny it.
brains. People run from it.
I
Yeah.
know. But see, this is the point where I don't feel sorry for when there's blood on the streets and shit's crashing. The people I'm going to feel sorry for is people like Steve, people like Warren, people like Joe, people like this. I'm not going to feel sorry for the people that was attacking Steve or attacking me, that didn't have time to go look for themselves, that called us nuts. Because when the blood's on the streets and shit's happening, and now they suddenly care because it's affecting their life, I really don't care about them people because they were complicit on helping it to happen. Okay?
Right.
So if you're going to be complicit on helping the destruction of your own society happen, I just can't find it in my heart to have any. Why should I care about what's happening to you now? Because when I cared enough to try to help people, you didn't give a fuck. So why should I care what's happening to you?
Well, Bill, I think this is the cycle of life. I mean, I'm sure there are some people who live in the rainforest area who are fighting hard to stop it, even natives even. But it literally, it's like these people. Bill, this is why I don't think necessarily you can blame it strictly on elites. You have to understand that there's individual egos involved.
Well, of course there is. Of course there is.
It's not just that like everybody's a member of the Masons. This is ego driven. People are just driven by their egos.
Well, it's ego driven and it's money driven.
It's a little bit of both. There's a little bit of nature and nurture. People, people are naturally going to have a degenerate element in them, but also as a product of that nature, you can have these few people at the top who are going to exploit that and and use that to their advantage. So,
Bill, it's even worse.
Propaganda is based off manipulating those tribal impulses.
And Bill, another thing, I don't know whether this is ego too, but I had people that lived in my neighborhood. I can't prove they didn't vote for me, but I have a strong suspicion they didn't. And they've known me for 20, 30, 40 years. I've only been a good neighbor to them. And it realized that sometimes the people you think are your friends are not really your friends, Bill. And it's scary to realize that living in a neighborhood doesn't guarantee the people down the street from you are your friends.
No,
Can I
that's going to
recommend
be
a
a
book
worst
to you,
enemy.
Steve?
Yeah, go ahead.
It's Jacques Ellul. It's called Propaganda: Formation of Men's Attitudes.
Right. But how's that relate
Jacques
to what I'm
Ellul
saying?
was a French propagandist that was working under the United Nations.
Right. Well, I'm talking on a local level. I'm just trying to basically bring things down to understanding
Yeah.
that people are, I saw this when my mom got sick and how I was a caregiver. It's just like the people that you thought you were your friends are kind of like are really weirded out, and it's like you got people that you knew, and it's just
Yeah.
it's really weird. You listen, there's nothing shameful about being a caregiver if you had a relative that's sick. I mean, listen, I got people that I would still take care of if I had to.
Well, Steve, this is where I have a lot of respect for you. But when you talked about your neighbors, the one thing I've
Yeah.
always known for years now is when shit does hit the fan and blood hits the streets and the food is not being shipped, it's your neighbors that you better be looking out for, because they'll be the
Yeah.
ones that'll be breaking through your door to try to take what you got.
Yeah, Bill, that's funny that you mentioned that. Rod Serling was a genius. There was a Twilight Zone episode where these people were all pretending to be friends, and all of a sudden they started attacking each other because one person had a bomb shelter and he had told everybody and warned them, and they decided to break into his bomb shelter. And at the end of the episode they say, oh, this has all been a mistake, this is a false alarm. And all of a sudden they started, oh, we're friends again. And he goes, the guy in the episode said, who the hell are we as a species? He basically was like, he saw them like after they broke into his bomb shelter with his family, he says, who are we? I mean, what a genius. And Rod Serling saw the bullshit. I don't know how this guy could do it, but he was such a genius at seeing through the BS and the humans,
Yep. Well, unfortunately.
Well, he worked on the inside, or when you work in Hollywood, man, there's a lot of fucked up shit goes on in Hollywood.
Yeah, but I think he had a good intentions, because if you ever watch most Twilight Zone episodes that are written by him, he seemed to actually have compassion for people that might have been at the bottom end of this, because I watched a lot of these episodes. I'm saying every episode was a good episode, but that episode was up there with one of the top 10 episodes he ever did.
And he may have, look, some people fall into the industry and, if they're not going along with it and they're allowed to have a platform, they're probably being used by them to some capacity.
Yeah.
In most cases. But
and I don't, people say, oh, Rod Serling, he's Jewish and he's part of Hollywood. Rod Serling was actually a very compassionate guy from what I could see. He showed that he gave a shit. He showed the nature of these. I mean, he wrote most of these episodes, or half of them, and he was really on top. But that episode really made me understand that, you got these people pretending to be friends, and at the end of the episode, he realizes that the guy that sees that they're trying to get into his bomb shelter, and then they say, oh, we'll fix all your house. We destroyed your house, but we'll fix it now. It's all over now. Thank God. And it's like the guy says, who the hell are we? It was a good episode.
Yeah, well, but
that's one thing I like about Twilight Zone. It makes you think, man. It's all about things that make people go crazy,
Yeah, they would never be able to make an episode. In this day and age, they would never make a show like that. I mean, it would force people to think. They would never do that.
No, they don't want.
Yeah, they don't want people thinking.
Exactly.
No.
I'm sorry. Go ahead. I don't mean to keep cutting you off, but I'm sorry. I'm not trying to.
Well, but that's true. They don't want people thinking. And unfortunately, as sad as it is, they put because the one thing the elite always did is they bragged that they would always tell the people what they were going to do, what their plans was, and they would tell people this, and they actually do, but people don't listen. People don't care.
I agree. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, you know the funny thing about that is things that make people go crazy, and that's always the theme of like most of the Twilight Zone stuff like that. But you know what's funny about that? Isolation is used as a form of punishment for prisoners and shit, right?
Yeah, that's what they do now. They put you in solitary. That's horrible.
Yeah, but think about that. But how that relates to our situation as TFLers.
Well, that's why,
Well-
you know, Warren, if you watch the first half of 2019 Zeitgeist, you're going to
Yeah.
see how humans are the needs of the human. It doesn't recognize gender. We all have a lot of the exact same needs, right? When
Yeah.
when all of your needs are met, you find your people like Steve or like me or like yourself that have cared for other people, right? And
Yeah.
when you're denied some of your needs, they've actually proved it with X-rays in the human brain. It actually changes. Causes. You remember how I've told people before the behaviors?
Yeah.
Okay, it does damage to you mentally, and your behaviors go right along with that.
Yeah.
Well, Bill, I don't think that in your or my case, okay, I don't think that there's an excuse to. I don't know what you're getting at. Are you talking about the evil side of people or what?
I know I'm talking about how it creates a dysfunctional society.
Oh, in general, yeah, you're right. It does. But if you're strong-willed like I am, and you are, and a lot of people listening to this, if you understand that what you're up against, it's a lot easier to deal with it. You know what I'm saying? Like
Yes.
now that I understand how politics works, is that it's an ugly game. The people you're going up against are going to do whatever they got to do to smash you down. And that maybe
yes.
politics is for me. I don't know. Maybe it's not.
Well, you know, politics is a very cutthroat industry, and and unfortunately, it is exactly what it is. What we have is a society that is profiting off the backs of others, and they don't
Right.
care how they get their profit. They don't care who they destroy, who they step on, okay? And when you think about that mentality and you move up to the dating arena, it's actually no different. You're playing the game with other people's emotions and feelings and not caring who you walk on to get your want.
Right. You do whatever you got to do by any means necessary. I mean, literally is. I mean, I didn't realize this, Bill, but most people don't care about God. Even people that are members of the Catholic Church, they don't care about God at all. They really are just going through the motions of taking what they can. This is what I really believe, Bill. I really think most people are godless. I really do. I think they might put on the facade they care about God, but all I do is judge them by their actions. And everything I see is totally narcissism.
That's exactly it. You know, I made that statement, what was it, last week? I said, if I was to guess, I would have to say at least 80% of our population is psychopaths.
And Bill, it's like they say that more than half the people go to church. I mean, the parking lots are always filled with patrons, but you cannot convince me that these people are all living up to this
They're
life.
not. They're
It's
fakes.
no way.
They're fakes. You know what the church is for? So that they can have their phony cover. It's like putting a cover on a book, but what's inside the book is evil, twisted, and fucked up, but you put this nice cover on it. Okay?
Bill, you would have to be not only a religious person but a philosopher at the same time. There are religious philosophers that do understand this, but like to go to church and not really and conform to this lifestyle, it's totally different because, like I said, every election is preceded by some rabbi or some priest or some minister blessing the ceremony of the election, and it's so fake. It's like it's phony.
Well, of course it is. You know, the one myth, and this is a myth totally. People believe for centuries now that the church and the government were separate.
They're not.
They've never been.
Yeah.
Religion and churches and government go hand in hand. Okay?
Two sides of the same coin.
Exactly. You know,
Yeah.
and you can't get that through people's heads because people want to. I don't take somebody's faith away from them and say, believe in a creator, with God, whatever you want to believe in, right? That's your prerogative. But to believe that these churches were built from that little basket that was passed around in church, you're out to lunch in your head. You're looking at multi-million-dollar churches. Where do you think they
Yeah.
got that money? They didn't get it from that little basket going around.
Well, that's what I've always wondered. Some of these I call them mini mega churches. Like some of these local churches, they are multi-million-dollar buildings. Like that there's nobody paying that much in the tithes to be able to fund that. It's crazy.
Well, that's because churches has been used for years to brainwash and control the masses.
Right. I don't know, Bill. I don't want to. I can't make that accusation that everybody's a hypocrite, but I just don't see. I mean, and even churches are like, there's so much sexual division out too. The churches are kind of like going along with the plan too. It seems.
Well, of course they are. They're controlled by the same people.
That's why to me, I'm not telling anybody else what to believe. I'm just telling you my philosophy on it, man. I always thought philosophy was a far better tool for spiritual exploration than religion, man. Religion binds you down to certain ideas, whereas philosophy just tells you explore and ask your own questions and come to your own conclusions.
And the thing that gets me too is that when they bless these political ceremonies, like they're like inducting a new judge into office, and you got like a priest there, they're almost condoning the corruption. They're condoning the arrogance and the sliminess. Let's say a judge gets elected, some Irish Catholic judge gets brought into office through slimy politics, and he's being inducted, and there's a priest there. It makes me wonder what is going on with that church that they are blessing some ceremony that was fraught under total evil. We're friends now because it's an ugly scenario, and we see this like when the president is inaugurated. It's ugly.
Well, you know what? One of the biggest low-life, evil criminals we have in the world is the Pope.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I would say he's the biggest. He's one of the many, I guess.
I
you could
said
say.
one of. That's why I said.
One of.
Well,
Okay.
see, this is how you know. This is how you know, like as far as institutions, as far as the institution of religion, because the Pope is pretty much like, you got an Eastern equivalent of him too, is the Dalai Lama, and they're all embedded in the same Freemason sort of shit, man. You can see, like, if you look into it, man, you see the same symbols and stuff, and the same crap, like is hidden in plain sight, man. Because you got to know what you're looking at. But there's these religions, whether it's Christianity, whether it's Judaism, whether it's Islam, whether it's Hindu, they're all embodied in Freemasonry, and all your politicians, worldwide are at some level, most of them are involved in like Freemasonry, at least the ones that get anywhere.
Yes.
I mean, you might have a few at your local level that might not be, but chances are that they're not part of,
Well, Warren, you have thousands and thousands of Masons, okay? The lower tier Masons you find are people that are good-hearted, that mean well, that go out and do good for the people, right? But but the lower tier never makes a higher number. If you move up to the higher numbers, the more up you go, the more corruption you find.
Yeah, just like the military, man. The ranking system was almost kind of designed off the military order, where like, the grunts usually a lot of them have good intentions and mean to do good things, and maybe they do to some extent. But
yeah, Bill. Go ahead. Sorry.
They're just being used as pawns for like a bunch of corrupted leaders that that are higher up than them. So.
Well, there is a ranking system. The military, when these people are honored for their service, it's just a big stage show. A guy gets his legs blown off. Okay, well, so the president will do, say, hey, he did this stuff, or he had to have his brain blown off, or whatever. But we all know the reality is these people go back to their normal civilian lives shit in a worse situation, and nobody gives a shit about them. I mean, I wish society would call it for what it is.
Yeah, now that I totally agree with, because that is what
Yeah.
happens, and then you have the situation where you was in the military, you come home after a bunch of years, whether you're missing an arm, whether you're not missing an arm, you get attacked by the public, nobody cares about you anymore, and then
Yeah.
your government's looking to take your guns from you because they trained you how to use them, and they don't want you using the guns against them when they're over
Yeah.
here committing tyranny against you.
Well, that's one thing that I heard this one guy on the internet say. He says that the reason why the government fears ex-soldiers is they're already combat ready. They're combat ready to go. They already know
Yes.
how. Yeah.
That's
Well, that too.
true.
I mean, Freemasons hide a lot of their stuff behind charity organizations. But you know who else does that?
Yeah.
Biker gangs.
Well, biker gangs actually are known to have a higher camaraderie rate. They're willing to die for each other before even there was some guy that had infiltrated the Hells Angels or one of these biker gangs, and he said that the biggest fear he had is that if it was a life and death situation, that the bikers would fight for their would have more camaraderie to die than even the FBI guys. So they actually do have a camaraderie.
Yes.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Well,
So I don't know. I mean,
it's just it's really messed up, but I would love to straighten things out, but I can't. I only
Yeah.
push the care thing because on an individual level, the only way we could ever fix the world is through care. But I already know it
Yeah.
ain't gonna happen because
Yeah.
you can't force somebody to do the right thing or to care about right or wrong, or what I'm
Right.
saying. You can't force that. People have to want to themselves.
Right. Yeah, Bill, I don't think at this point, I don't think that people like the alternative media are really that much of a threat. I think the agenda is going to just keep moving forward. I don't think it really matters.
Well,
I don't.
alternative media ain't a threat anyhow because
Yeah.
mainstream media and alternative media are paid and run by the exact same people.
And you know what? You know what I've noticed too.
Yeah.
Prior to all these identity politics getting stirred up, there are more people who are generally in the center, right? Or who are generally like, or they're moderate liberals or moderate conservatives, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Nowadays, more and more people, it's becoming almost like Trinity for people to either jump to the far left or the far right.
Yeah, but I think that people are dropping out now. I think that you've got some people. I think that the smartest thing. I used to make fun of people like this, but I think that dropping out of the political race, it makes maybe the most sense because you really have no control of it. That like when I ran for political office, I realized that I was trying to do the right thing, and in the end, I realized I was jumping into a shitstorm. It really was.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, here it is. It's like, okay, you went in with good intentions. You wanted to do the right thing, right?
Right.
But there's a lot of sharks out there, man, and they can't have an honest person out there because if you're honest, your presence is going to be a threat to them.
Yeah, right.
Which is
You know
true.
what I'm saying?
Which is exactly true. They're not going to bring an honest person into political arena. You're not going to be an honest, caring person and get a position in mainstream media. You need to, you need to be a good order follower, a good slave.
Right. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And Steve would not make a good order follower for being a good complicit little slave because Steve has a heart, Steve cares, and he's brutally honest. Which means if the order is to go violate some innocent person's rights in life, Steve would be telling them off and trying to do that to that person. Well, they can't have that.
Yeah.
So, no, they wouldn't let me
Nope,
and Steve.
not at all.
They wouldn't let me and Steve near Dr. Phil for the life of them.
It's shark-infested waters, Joe. That's what it is. That's what politics is. It's all a
Yeah.
fucking shell game, man.
Dr.
I mean,
Phil would not be where he's at today if he wasn't complicit. He's a fraud. He's a phony.
Of course he
Yeah.
is. Of
Yeah,
course,
he
you
could not.
know.
Yeah, he would not be where he's at.
If
He's a
TFL,
phony.
yep. If TFL ever went mainstream, we would be put in the same light they did Incel. We would be
Yeah,
demonized.
Yeah,
Yeah.
they could not afford to have. They couldn't afford Bill. Even if they could get the ability to shame you, they wouldn't allow it, because if you got the word out about TFL, there would be millions of guys that even if they shamed you, they would agree with it. So they can't even make it mainstream at all.
No, they're gonna hide it and hide it and hide it, because to take it mainstream would bring too much attention to a real problem.
Right, exactly.
Mm.
Yeah.
So, but I'll keep fighting back regardless, because that's what I'm gonna do.
Right.
But hey, Steve, I
Yeah.
appreciate it. I'm gonna get on
Yeah.
out of here. Okay, I've been up here for over 3 hours, so I think it's time to get out
Right.
of here. But hey,
Okay.
I'm sorry I missed your phone call, and I'm sorry you missed mine. We'll
That's all right.
We'll catch up with each other.
All right.
But thanks,
All right.
Steve. Thanks, Warren. And we'll chat with you
Thanks,
later.
guys.
Yep, later, guys.
Y'all take it
All
easy.
right. Bye.
Bye-bye.